Sunday, Mother's Day, and we're so very grateful for all the mothers out there. We wanted to do a channel. When I say we, all the celestial teams that I come with, and beautiful Gaia. I love you, Gaia. I love you, Gaia. And we had such a beautiful, thank you, and happy Mother's Day. All the beautiful divine feminine, those that are in masculine form that appreciate and work on taking acknowledgement and appreciation of their own divine feminine energies. It is so important on the planet to understand, maintain, and sustain balance. It's so, so key. Why it's the number 2 universal law that we've been practicing. So we really appreciate all of those that bring in the divine mother energies, divine feminine energies, and understand what the divine feminine energies are all about for our planet. And understanding of the divine feminine role in manifestation, role in health, role in new birthing, all new aspects of life that are rolled out. And so it has to go hand in hand with everything that we're moving forward with. And so we did a few channeled notes today. So I'm going to be channeling all of the beings and the species that I come with. These intentions are for those that have been on the path for a while, that are learning new ways of expansion, new ways of who they are as consciousness, to level up, understand that every moment is a transmuting moment for you to appreciate where you've been, honor the story of where you've been and what has made you who you are, and then integrating through acceptance and allowance and acknowledgement of the soul fragments that is the all of you. And so the more that you're gentle and compassionate and loving with yourself, you'll see just things really quickly unfold. Self-love and self-appreciation and doing what is best for you, because you're only responsible for your path and your soul's mission. And so really fine-tuning that redirection within, that redirection of self-claiming, the redirection of sovereignty and what that means for you, really, really driving that that experience of new self-management. It's going to be so key in this next phase. And that's there. They gave me some really wonderful, wonderful news. The systems of light and some of the things that they've seen change for humanity just over the last little while. It's so gorgeous today. I wanted to say it was so beautiful, why I love living on the island. It's one of the most beautiful drives up and down the island in late spring and early summer. And so I just had all of my windows down and my rooftop open, and it was just complete silence, and I was listening to all the various nature as I was driving down the island. And it's a beautiful mountainous drive in and out of these really hairpin corners, but the various colors of green and all the nature that was speaking to me and just celebrating me as I was celebrating Gaia. Because I do that often when I'm driving and I'm going on trips or sacred travels, going to see, family or friends. I really take in appreciation for Gaia and what I see and what is being brought to me. And it's just the most beautiful, beautiful drive. And so I really had a lot of fun today, just valuing and being in deep gratitude for Gaia. So I really felt divine love today and appreciation. So much appreciation, divine feminine appreciation. So we're so grateful. And we're calling upon the fairies and the angels. So this is just going to be a channel. I do have some notes that we didn't get to last time from our last video. And so we are intending a higher vibrational audience, those that are truly intending for healing, transmuting the past, recreating new stories of your past, and moving forward in a beautiful, loving, self-sovereign way, so that you're directing and reclaiming your light, reclaiming your power, reclaiming all that you are as a divine being of holy light. I mean, that really is your godliness. Your godliness is your ability to stand in who you are, your ability to stand in all versions of who you are, and honor all of those aspects. Honor the moments through which you're going through that emotional minutia. Honor the experiences that you're allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel, and doing it in a responsible way that's not harming or hurting anyone. To have those places that you can go to that is nature, that is really, allowing that respect for your emotional purging, because you have to purge those energies. And so just carry, notebooks and journals with you wherever you go, and just find those places that are nice and silent for you to appreciate those purging experiences, because those are allowing you to transmute what needs to be transmuted. And sometimes they come upon us when, especially they come upon us when, we're having, those beautiful family moments and those family sharings, especially on Mother's Day. So it's really great that you can really take direction and ownership of how you want to move forward, giving yourself permission to release the energies, giving yourself permission to be really, a leader in your family, a leader in your community of how to transmute energies and talk about, the different emotional processes. Because Ascension really is, it's a process. It's a process of you understanding the ownership of where you've been, owning the journey that you've been on, and the various emotions that you had suppressed, were taught to suppress, imprints from your lineage, imprints from your social dynamic, imprints from dogma. There's so much that goes into transmuting and allowing us to be more high vibrational beings. We can't be vibrational beings if we're suppressing and we're being in subjugation or control or limitations. So a higher vibrational being is one that just allows constant flow of source creator. And so it's really good to maintain those self-sovereignty experiences. And sometimes when you're moving about your day in family experiences or moving about your 3 to 4 to 5 day life, those emotional experiences will hit you more and more as you're becoming more attuned with being intentional with your path of ascension, intentional with your path of transmutation, intentional to transform what was. So, and you'll be finding that you're going to seek it more in others as well. Like having your ability to seek, have your ability to seek those that also want to be on the path of self-evolution. Seek those, have intentions daily. You know, set the intentions of seeking out tribe that are of similar vibration, that are seeking higher intentional soul tribe, higher intentional humanitarian work, humanitarian work that serves the greater good. There's going to be a lot of shifts coming up in the next little while of all the aspects of who we have been is coming forward to make sure that, you know, we're constantly looking at where are we now within the heart space. That's being your mindfulness or heartfulness. And then allowing that understanding of your new transmuting soul aspect to become new. And having compassion with yourself and understanding those aspects that want to show themselves. And that is really, you know, allowing that shadow to be as the shadow and not projecting it outwards to, you know, others, because that's just being harmful. And again, it's all coming back to you. And so it's just allowing yourself to be compassionate. The more compassionate you are with yourself, the more compassionate you'll be with others. It's just a given. So you know that those that are not practicing compassion, they're not practicing it within themselves and they're not doing self-work. So it's important that you seek out those that are also intentional about living in a greater capacity earth, and not being okay with the conformity of violence, not being okay with the conformity of all the corruptions that we've been moving through that have to be brought up and purged. Every corruption in our socio-economic systems, dogmatic systems, all of the corruptions will be seen, so that every human on our planet, that it was a part of creating all the corruptions, they will be a part of transmuting them and facing them. So nobody will be exempt. Nobody's going to be exempt from the ascension path. Everybody has to look at what we've created, what we've considered normal, what we've considered acceptable practices, what we've considered, you know, how we've allowed the normality of such degrading energies. And so, but it's up to everybody to do so. And that's where a lot of the shifts are going to take place, is you're going to start seeing more synchronicity and more care about life in and of itself, because that means that there's more and more people that are seeking care within. And it's going to be, you know, it's so important and so honoring to take that time out to appreciate nature, to appreciate Gaia and the planet. And that's usually a daily thing. You know, if you're spending time in meditation, you will be shown those areas through which you need to open and appreciate more. Appreciation and gratitude, as I said in most of my videos way back in the olden days of KCOR, we talked a lot about gratitude and appreciation because it was a portal to open all flow of source creator energy. And so the difference between my channel and other channels and understanding ascension and understanding various aspects of energy, how we're all meant to uniquely allow source to awaken within us through the Adam, Eve, Antine particles, through the God seed particles. It's a very complex, very sacred process on how each and every person is activated with Metatronic light, through the Christic light. And again, everything we talk about doesn't have anything to do with religion. And the process of the light activating each and every individual's body is the cascading effect of all of those that you belong with in your soul family. And it goes all the way up to the infinite number of dimensions. You're never separate. You're never alone on this journey. Your guides are always pulling you up, as you are also looking at everybody before you as a part of your soul family, as a part of your soul experience. And then it's mastery to determine what you share, how you share, and with whom you share. That is just the mastery of becoming self-sovereign. and not buying into really low vibrational social systems, dogmatic systems that keep you really conformed into separatism and discrimination. But that's up to each individual to go through with their ascension path work and allow themselves to determine where their beliefs sitting, where are they judging themselves and separating themselves from everybody outside of them. And then that is the reunification process. You're returning to self. But the process of ascension is you're awakening to the greater light that is becoming more and more palpable, because the omnipresent is all that source is. What makes my experiences and my teachings different is that I'm a vessel for Source Creator. Conduits and all of the gifts and skills that I've practiced over many eons and many lifetimes. I move source energy in the vessel that I am and how I present it. And so it's always my intention to offer the highest vibrational wisdoms, the higher vibrational wisdoms of the ages, the various beings that I come with, the galactic federations, the systems of light, the species of light, and the heavenly councils and the archangels and the masters that are working with me right now to level up my conduit gifts. You know, how I'm perceiving energy. A lot of my gifts have been enhanced the last little while. So I'm having to move about my life differently, making sure that I'm getting a lot of rest, simply because it's I'm having to process a lot more energy and it's a lot more sensitive. And so my teachings are the understanding and how I offer and inspire and empower everyone to go within and start seeking what Source Creator Essence means and how can you start seeking it out. It is a vibration, it is a sensation, it's an essence, and everything that I teach and everything that I show you is to how to tune into yourself as a multidimensional being and start awakening your multidimensional gifts, your skills and your talents, which back in the earlier days of when I first started my Ascension path work, my teams had given it to me as the Christed toolkit, because it was the Christ consciousness living through you as the multidimensional being through what has been the eternal life, which is what Jesus taught as a master, had nothing to do with religion. Where it is about the movement of light as light, that's Source Creator. Source Creator is also known as God, the God that is of all life, the God that creates all life, that is all life, the one God of all experiences. And that God has a consciousness. God is of all consciousness at all levels of all dimensions. Infinite aspects of life that you're connected with, infinite realms of life that you're connected with. You have many different bodies. You have many different planets you belong to, many different forms that you belong in. You have many forms that are androgynous. You have many forms that are species, like amphibious, cetacean. You have consciousness that are just movement of energy and color and light and sound, because the creational energy is all about harmonics. And so it's really important. That is a big part of Ascension, is to accept yourself as all aspects. And then that allows you to really start transmuting the discriminations that you have within about your own divine feminine energies and the masculine energies. So it's really about stepping into a higher value of who you are, and by honoring and transmuting the various conformities you've chosen to take on, the various belief systems you've chosen to take on, and how you see yourself becoming a more evolved as a being of light. In 5D, we will have healed those divine feminine masculine energies, and most will be androgynous at that stage, because it's been a complete balancing of the divine masculine and a complete balancing of the divine feminine. And they're very important because there's wounding in each one of the chakras, and as you ascend, you're healing those energies up through the chakra systems. Most often than not, most people on the planet are operating from the lower chakras because they're just still awakening, and that is where the light activates first, is from the base of the spine. And those atom evantine particles move up the spine through the pillar of light, and it activates chakra by chakra by chakra, clearing out densities. Why you have certain aspects of your ascension path that are very emotional. Sometimes people, just got used to claiming the moon cycles as part of the ascension path, but it's far deeper and grander and more complex and more elegant than that, because that's God, Source Creator. Source Creator is very elegant, and it has everything to do with your soul blueprint, which is different and unique to every other soul blueprint. And why, when you understand the complexity and the elegance of every human being an individual imprint of Source Creator God, You come from infinite lineages. You come from infinite histories. You come from infinite ancient tribes. You come from infinite planets. You come from infinite realms of dimension and theories that you're transmuting into a higher vibrational now. That's why it's really important to do that daily inner work, so that you're aligning yourself to a higher version of you. And that higher version of you is the encompassment of all your soul aspects, right? Instead of being just one version of you, you want to be all versions of you. That allows all of those gifts, skills, and talents, the Christed toolkit, to open to you. And that's why my version of this earth that I'm on is a version of eons of the honing that I've done for my gifts and skills. And they're very many lifetimes to hone the certain gifts and skills that I'm going to be activating in this next session of my ascension journey, because I am practicing in mastery. So it is becoming a lot more refined. It's becoming a lot more available to spirit, to allow source essence to flow no matter what is before me, and to have a greater flowing essence of source creator before me. And so that is being aligned in your godliness. And that's why we explained in all of our videos that we're releasing our ability to look to the outer as a version of God, in so far as somebody standing in a church and saying word for word of a Bible does not give them more godliness title than someone that is a healer, that, you know, lives in however that healer wants to live, and is moving that source energy through their body, the source essence, the source flow. That's why some of us that are healers have been trained. The codes that are in our fields and how we manifest our fields are operating in a higher version of godliness, so that we help heal a greater capacity of the collective all at once. It's hard to explain. My vessel as my 8-foot field, my 8-foot field of auras and causal field, emotional field, mental field, as I'm doing more clearing and refining, I carry a more refined Christed light, because obviously I've cleared those densities and I'm allowing a refined aspect of God to flow through me. And those are with intentions and working with that Christ sovereignty. I've called it the commandmentship. When you're doing your healing sessions at night, when you're living with intention through your heart, all of those aspects in the portals of godliness are working in similitude and synergy. Why a lot on my social posts, I talk a lot about synergy. Because synergy is the aspects of allowing us to live in our godliness. And the godliness does not have anything to do with how we thought, taught, and told, or shown in our older versions of dichotomy. We're meant to be eclectic, hybrid, diverse beings of templates of source creator. And that's why there's infinite aspects of God. Of course there is. There's infinite planets with species on them that we don't even have names for. And therefore, infinite aspects on this planet of 8 billion plus all of the nature, plus all of the animals. There's infinite aspects of source creator, and every aspect of source creator has a vibrational story that comes forward to teach and mirror to humanity who are we and how are we and what's going on within us. You know, those 3 aspects of ascension that we're constantly in that minutia with. Who are you now? What's going on within you, and what do you truly exist within? You exist within the multi-dimensional magnitude of micro-macro source creator. And that will never end. That's your eternal infinite gift from God. The more consciously aware you are of that, the more consciously intentional you are of that, the more consciously understanding of when your triggers are for release, when your triggers are for ego death, where your triggers are for integrating shadow, where your triggers are for the beliefs that you're working on for divine feminine, your beliefs you're working on for divine masculine. That's being consciously aware. That's a very high capacity, as we said, capacity and aptitude. Aptitude is that ability to reach higher for higher vibrational knowing of who you are. Take yourself beyond everything you ever thought and let that go, and start seeking and reaching into higher versions of consciousness, higher versions of who you are. A multidimensional being with Christic light. Christic light is Metatronic light. Christic light is sacred geometry of all that is the God crystalline energy. And that crystalline energy, as we move higher and higher in dimensions, becomes more and more refined. It becomes more and more pure with more God essence. And that's why people are finding now, karma is coming back a lot quicker. It back in 3D days, people would do really horrible things and it would take them maybe lifetimes for the karma to catch up. And so now that we're in a more refined light, the energies are coming back, and because the faster, higher oscillation it's a quicker bounce back. Bashar talked about it in some of his videos. He called it the rubber band effect. And so that is just the more in tune and consciously aware you are as the all talking to you as you talking to it, the more conscious you are about all aspects being God. It doesn't fall under any religion. God is just God. God is the absolute creator of all life. Your conscious connection and relationship with it, that's how you manifest transmutation. That's how you manifest self-love. That's how you manifest eternal health. That's how you manifest youthfulness. That's how you manifest seeing everything that unfolds before you from a higher perspective. That's living as a higher self. And so, but that takes practice, because everything that we've been taught for 3,000 years has been a much lower, discriminatory, separative experience. And we can let that go now. Because everything is unfolding before us, the systems of corruption, the systems of discrimination, the systems of judgment, the separations of divine feminine, and her lack of value and worthiness in our world, along with the children and the elders and the nature, everything but the top 5% essentially. All of that is being shown to humanity to truly face what we have chosen to be okay with, the beliefs we chose to take on from our parents or our lineage or our social world, and those that stand up and above and beyond, exposing what needs to be exposed and standing in truth no matter how hard it might be. And that's the courageous perseverance that the councils today told me was really, really many planets and species from all over the multiverse come to watch what's going on Earth, because it is one of the most densest planets in vibration. We've allowed ourselves to become very degrading towards life, and when you awaken to aspects of all life being God, all life being source creator, you really come into every moment for moment honoring sacred life. Even if you're going on a drive, you can honor that sacred life. You can honor that God essence, because it's speaking to you. And the more that you're awake to that vibrational story, that me as a conduit, I empower and inspire everybody. Tune in to what is going on within you. Tune into the aspects of your inner voice and the inner soul fragments that are speaking with you. And remember again, your spirit and your inner teams and your inner higher self and those soul fragments that always seek to integrate with you, they're always the highest version of you, and they're always loving, and they're very simple. Any voice that you hear that is negative, that lives out of that shadow energy, if you have had a very low sense of self and a very low self-esteem, and you have had a lot of energy in practicing low vibrational behaviors, those aspects of the ego and the shadow, selfishness, envy, jealousy, and all of those things, sharing your life force in degrading ways, hurting and harming people, attacking people, targeting people, all of those are disconnective energies from spirit. Those disconnections of energies allow for darker energies to enter into the vessel, and they then start slowly creating mind patterns or patterns to feed that entity. So whether it's an envy entity or a jealousy entity, a lust entity, whatever those entities are, they will feed a new mind pattern. And it takes a great strength, why my teachings are so important, because it does take that higher vibrational pattern entrainment to know what is yours and what is something else. To know what is your thought forms, what is your higher self thought forms, what is spirit thought forms, what are the angelic thought forms, and that takes practice. That's practicing with spirit. That's becoming consciously aware and connecting in that relationship with spirit. That's your daily work. That's doing the path work. Those that have entity attachments come from cults, covens, Masonic groups that have a very detached, misguiding aspect of what spirit and God is. They've been practicing very low vibrational practices that separate themselves from God. They are going to have those voices in their head that speak very low vibrational things, and because they patterned their thoughts in that way, especially, brainwashing, mind scraping, all of those types of experiences, some shadow government, secret societies, they're all about taking the sense of self away from you. They scrape that and they deconstruct that from you. And that higher self is so important. That higher sense of self and that inner voice that speaks only love, that speaks only empowerment, that speaks only encouragement, that's what you got to get used to listening for. And however, there is, billions on our planet that have been brought up, have been abused, have been trafficked. That patterning is very, very dangerous. So, but we have to face it as a collective. We have to face that patterning, and knowing that we can heal it, knowing that it can be recoded, knowing that it can be healed. Those low vibrational patterns, the voices that speak on behalf of entities, those energies that speak on behalf of the entities, they are directly connected with the exact wound that you chose to offer that entity in, or that demon in. And that would be connected to the wound that you had that you chose not to heal, through lower vibrational behaviors of giving your power away, giving your voice away, giving your spirit away, chanting, and all of those things. If it's not in a self-honoring experience, has nothing to do with anything outside of you. This is the differences between what we teach and what other aspects of the society will see themselves have to change or not. It's all free will. Anything that you do in practice of the vessel in and of itself, the vessel is God. What you say is God, how you say it is God, because the outer is God, the breath is God, the trees are God, everything is God. That omnipresence is showing you. So if you're doing things in degradation of whatever it is you say, whether it's a ritual, whether it's a chanting, whether it's a spell, whether it's a voodoo, whether it's a sacrifice, all of those are now returning back to you very quickly, because it's a higher vibrational light. It's a higher vibrational collective. Our collective has a higher vibrational median than it did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago. So anything that you do in the vessel of God, it starts creating an imprint. It starts creating a new negative imprint, because that chant, and I'm just speaking of what we just mentioned as an example. Any chants and any things that you do outside of you, it is showing you that your bodies and your cells and your organs and your mind and your patterning of your mind, the higher mind of God, the God mind of God, has to go outside of itself to get something to satisfy itself, to nourish itself, to feed itself. And it absolutely doesn't. The number one law is I am that I am. That is all that God is. You don't have to ever project anything outside of you to receive something within you. And that is what the complete flip upside down, inside out effect is. And that is why all the secret societies, anything that has the intention to seek importance, validation, value, and worthiness outside of you. So any dark occult practice, any manipulation, any stating, any conjuring, any voodooing to affect others and interfere with others against the number one law of the universe, there will just be life showing itself, and those will just be universal laws showing those people that practice that there must be a shift of consciousness. There must be a shift of beliefs. And so everyone will have to look at how they've chosen to use thy vessel of God, use the vessel of Source Creator, and what is it that they're projecting into their reality. Because it's going to show them in every way, and there's nobody to blame but those themselves. Because they're the ones that are projecting such. They're the ones that are intending sacrificing such. So you can't expect anything different back. Right? That's the reality. That's the convergence showing you, no, I am the universal convergence. What are you doing? Right? So if you're doing spell work to try and make someone stay with you, if you're doing spell work to block somebody, if you're doing spell work to bring someone poverty, if you're doing spell work to sacrifice someone so you can get a higher title, that goes in obvious everything of the universal laws, and it's going to show it back to you. It's taking it from you. That vessel in and of itself says I must sacrifice something to receive something, and you don't. It's a 100% misguidance. So a lot of the practices, a lot of the understandings, a lot of the misknowledge, all of it will be coming out whatever person's pacing and temperament is, because everybody is different. Some people will refuse to understand God consciousness as a multidimensional essence that is a harmonic vibration. They still want to believe as God as a man that sits in the heaven, has a white beard, and belongs to every church, and you get judged by God. That's how people will want to always see God. They do not understand that there is a mother God. That mother God and the father God are all one God. It's a one creator God. The mother has a unique voice. The father has a unique voice. How we each awaken to that is that healing through all of our chakras, is the healing through all of the woundings, the imprints, the Akashic wounding, every timeline you've had from 3 to 5D, 51%, everybody is responsible for those integrations and bringing it back in for unification. And to do so, it is just variations of light. It's really dark aspects that don't have a lot of light in it. Then there's higher vibrations of light where you accept everything as light and everything is an aspect of God, creator, and you're just allowing it to just flow through you as a grander vessel of you as being open and flowing with Source Creator. That's how you know you've released a lot of resistance. You've released a lot of suppression and depression which really brings you into an anxiety, and your body, kind of compresses upon itself. Your chakras are kind of clenched and not moving. There's very low rotation in your chakras. That's because there's a lot of damage in the chakras, and there's a lot of blocking due to the beliefs. Because you've patterned yourself in a negative pattern to say that I have to do a sacrifice to receive something. A complete wrong. It's not wrong. Eventually everybody will find out. Any of the dark occult practices, they will find that what they've been doing is it's a long way around ascending and becoming who you are. And there's no real wrong. Everybody will find their towers. Everybody will get their karma. To do anything in a practice and in a ritual because you want something is not why you do anything at all, first of all. And if you're awakened, and if you practice with Source Creator, and if you practice in alignment with your higher self through the teachings, through the sense and teachings that I offer you, there's differences between everything in our world right now being an outer focus, or is it inner driven, inner maintenance, inner sustenance? So ask yourself that question. Are they the 3 questions of your self-evolution? Who are you? What do you exist within? What's going on within you? It's all inner. You never have to practice voodoo. You never have to do spell work. You never have to do any of those things to ever receive your highest vibration of being you. Because ultimately that is why you want to ascend. Because you want to be the highest version of you. You want to be the highest version of love. You want to be the highest version of acceptance. You want to be the highest version of seeking joy in all things. And if you're in a high vibration of joy, everything that manifests outside of you is just going to be a higher vibrational joy. You're going to see joy in everything. The lower vibration you sit in, you're going to receive the lower vibrations of such. Because your focus is so outer to fill the inner. And that is the flip upside down, incorrect, misguided, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of universal laws, lack of similitude, lack of synergy, lack of oneness, lack of unity consciousness. There's a lot of misguidance. Don't do anything as a ritual practice to do anything, because again, that's pure ego. And you can do that, you can do it, but your intention to sit with yourself every day is to receive love and be love. And if it isn't that first, then go deeper. When you sit to connect with God, it shouldn't be about what you want. That's ego. That's all ego. That's 100% ego. That's why a lot of the practices that have been on our planet, dark occult and secret societies and all of those things, it's all ego. It has nothing to do with spirit. They're manipulating energy. That's what it is. They say it has to do with spirit, but it isn't. They're just manipulating energy. They're forcing energy through practices, dark occult practices. That's fine. There's no judgment. They will receive and they will get return, because that are the universal laws, and everybody can look them up and research them themselves. If you want to be a higher conscious being, do your research on what feels good for you. If you want to practice in low vibrational arts, you're going to get low vibrational reality. And again, as we said in many of our videos, this is the last lifetime in a human body that you can ascend. The planet will be ascending, and there will be no more versions of 3D humans. This is the lifetime to ascend. There's not going to be another 3,000 years to go through ascension. This is it. In a human form. This is why it's such a profound gift. And most of the practices on the planet have been done from very low vibrational, misguided ways, because it's been rewritten by people that were imbalanced. Let's be honest. Most people that are in churches and in society and in leadership and in systems, they're not balanced at all. They have no clue what consciousness is. They have no clue about sitting and receiving love and being love. And that's a blanketed, truthful statement of the majority of energy on the planet. It's changing very rapidly because people are seeing and they're feeling and they're sensing there's something really profound going on. I want to start paying attention to what's going on within me. Because it's obvious and it's evident. Synchronicities are all over the place. Karma's coming back real quick. There's things you're being guided to over and over and over again. It's hard to ignore the fact that you're a part of a grander, beautiful soup. Choosing light and choosing love and choosing unity consciousness, that will allow you to maintain the ride of ascension, to maintain the ride of evolution for your highest path, so that next timeline, next lifetime, next body, you can become into a higher version of you. And again, as we said, these are just mechanics of ascension. They're mechanics of your soul development. If all you do is resist change, and you resist light, and you resist unity conscious, you resist love, you resist acceptance of others, you resist the love of all that God is, you resist the love of acceptance of the divine feminine, divine masculine. If you resist any of the higher vibrational orders, the higher order form, the higher order consciousness, that's evolution, is higher vibrational thoughts. We have infinite number of dimensions, infinite number of threads, infinite number of bodies. If you're resisting it and you continually to live in that small hateful box, there won't be any timelines of light that you can manifest into. Because your soul has to know how to get into a 5D experience and manifest it so that you're not going to manifest destruction from a negative thought because you're having an ego, an ego death that day. In 5D, there's not going to be ego death. There's just going to be constant evolution in light and love. There will still be challenges, of course, but we are going to be integrated to see that, yes, everything is just love. It's all one. It's all us. But there are those that play as a catalyst to very dark orders, and they believe in dark entities, and they give their power away to dark entities, and they live in hate because they're very, very wounded. And most of them have demon entity attachments that feed them repetition of negative, harmful thought patterns. Spirit of higher self, if you're doing your ascension path work, you will have the negative ego patterning. That's normal. Everybody has negative ego patterning, because it's just what we were taught and trained through social experiences. Entity and demonic attachments and thought patternings are very destructive, and they're self-sabotaging in the most dynamic ways. That's how you know the difference. They're evil as far as the attacks that they want to do on others. They have thought forms and they have intentions of attack, because that's how they feed. That's how the entities feed. And that entity will be feeding itself on however you invited it in. Whether it was an invitation of low sense of self, because all entities are low sense of self. Whether you were feeding the lust demon, the envy demon, the jealousy demon, all of those demons and those entities will be feeding that. So they will have you attack anything in front of you to feed that entity, and they will seek to trigger. And this is why, if my platforms like myself and other platforms about healing and humanitarian and understanding energy, understanding your soul experience, understanding the soul evolution, understanding your soul fragments, understanding entity attachments, understanding disregarding negative behaviors, low sense of self, always focusing outer, all the wounding that has been, if that is not approached in a higher vibrational pattern for social healing, for social systems, for social development and understanding energy, who are we, what do exist, and what's going on within us, if these are not approached, those entities will seek more and more harm and more egregious acts to feed the entity until it is completely self-imploding, and it will create its own way out. And so those are just the mechanics of energy, because your physical body as God is light cannot continue being healthy and evolving in self-destructive entity experiences. It will manifest a way out. And most of the underground of the sexual abusing and the trafficking, which is obviously what we've seen of Epstein, if you watch any of the Epstein videos, those videos of interviews of people that were close with him before he was found out, if you will, that is an example of entity attachment, through which that entity and whomever was a part of that shadow government experiment, that entity called Epstein was able to be programmed to say and do whatever. So, and whoever was pushing the buttons and doing a lot of the control mechanism, MK Ultra programs and things like that, that was the long process of very negative, low vibrational, degrading living, through which entities and other conformed energies of darkness were able to use his vessel as pretty much a robotic experience of degradation. So you have to understand energy and all things that are God. It's still God. Those beings and the Epsteins are still versions of God. They've just chosen to give all of their power away through whatever we're practiced, whatever we're thought as normal, whatever we're conformed as normal, the degrading, devaluing of children, the degrading, devaluing of divine feminine, not understanding what's going on within you and healing those inner wounds. The exact opposite of what we teach is to go in and heal yourself, and self-proclamation is creating that sense of self through all that you are as light, because God will give you that eternal life. God will constantly heal you every night. You have to take ownership, and you have to be equal measure with Source. If, however, you choose to be on the other side of the scale, the infinity, remember, it's always about the infinity. right? You choose to be on the negative side of the infinity, which is always growth too. If you choose to pass over your body and your soul and your spirit with the karma board and your spirits and your angels, you go through a life review for 3 days and you go through all of your transactions as a human. When did that point of disconnect from spirit to human take place? A lot of the secret societies, mind scraping, what my teams had given me in that video called You Are Supported, that's what my teams first introduced me to some of the secret society shadow government experiences called mind scraping, secret cults and rituals, hazing, humiliation tactics, and all of those things. That is degrading the essence of your unification with spirit and in human form. And it also goes to negative group think, how bullying and negative group targeting call in a whole group of cancerous entities. And that's when, again, as we said in our social posts, that cities unto themselves, if they're not calling judgment on the corruption, whether they're afraid to be targeted or not, if you understand that source spirit, God, creator, the heavens, the legions of the billions and trillions and gazillions, they will support anybody and all people that stand up for the greater good. So you don't have to worry about any cult or group targeting you. God and spirit will always work with you 100% and will protect you and keep you safe. There has to be somebody that stands up against corruption, because we're now seeing there has to be much deeper look at how did this become? Why did this become? Where did our values go? Where was that point of disconnection of spirit and human? So anything in the outer reality that teaches or manifests those energies of spirit and human are not connected, that is the red flag. And those entities speak in very degrading, mind-scraping ways of the degradation of self, the hate of self. And that's not spirit. Spirit is constantly, we thank you so much for, coming forward today. We thank you so much for your love today. We thank you so much for shining your brightest, even though, it's a hard challenge down there. This is one of the denser planets, because we do have to go through all of the emotional gamut, and then we choose within ourselves what feels good in the mindfulness of neutrality. Neutrality is allowing yourself to be a master, to see all things as purposeful. We see just as much purposefulness in the negative, dark aspects. How did secret societies become so prevalent? Secret societies are now more taking the place of churches, and churches are now becoming more secret societies, and they're not really practicing what I offer, is the essence of source creator. The essence of source creator is a vibration that flows through my body. It's a vibration. My skin and my whole beingness is changed as I call intention to have source flow through me. They're higher vibrational statements. They're Christed statements. They're higher vibrational wisdoms that can be put down as sacred texts. That's being a pure, refined channel for the Holy Creator. So all of these things are ways in which we allow ourselves to constantly being transformed in the knowingness of your higher awareness. Lower vibrational awareness is continuing to do lower vibrational practices and not thinking that you're worthy for higher, because you are. Otherwise, you're not going to come into a higher vibrational body. You're not going to allow your mind to be entrained to be aligned with your higher mind. It is a multidimensional practice to choose a higher vibrational timeline, to choose a higher vibrational way of being. Practice seeking light, practice being light, practice having that minutia with God as light is all things. And anytime anything negative unfolds, you're just knowing that you're clearing karma, you're clearing negative beliefs, you're clearing negative social beliefs, which all has to be done by everybody, because everybody created it. Secret societies have to be faced. What's being practiced in secret societies has to be faced, and every secret society will manifest its own version of karma, because most of them are not operating in the first 2 laws at all, right? So that's going to be their own karma. Nothing's missed. Nothing is missed. Just because a secret society is called secret and they think they're really important, they have a lot of money and they have a lot of people, it doesn't mean anything. They're all still obliged by karma. Their soul will not advance unless they get the laws. Period. That's why we have universal laws. It's for the entire universe. All universal beings of evolution manifest their understanding of there are universal laws for a reason, because we're universal beings, because we all are the creator experience in micro macro experience. We're just going through various aspects of formation in the physical form. And again, the higher vibrational practices you have through the vessel of the vessel that's taking commandmentship of yourself, who are you, what to exist, and what's going on within you, and then the ascension tips and practices that we offer you, you're going to be offering yourself higher and higher timelines. You're going to be offering the cells higher and higher practices. You're going to get far greater and far grander, because most people that practice in those lower vibrations, it's all ego. They do it to get, they do it to take, they do it to feel good, because there's a low sense of self. There's a disconnected sense of self. Again, the disconnection is so important. You're either connected or you're disconnected. If you're connected, everything will manifest you just in reaching and seeking and being that higher version of light. Nothing outside of you ever has to be done. And that's a lot of wasted energy. It's a lot of wasted forcing of energy. It's going against universal laws. You're going to be earning a lot of karma, dark karma, negative karma, whatever you want to call it. However you want to move in the infinity, you're either going to get positive karma because you seek the light. You're going to get positive karma. You can't get positive karma if all you're doing is practicing dark, negative things. It's just the mechanics of our natures of the reality. It's mechanisms of reality. There's equations of the reality. What is your equation? If your equation is nothing but gossiping, negativity, and hate because you don't have a sense of self and you're projecting your no sense of self to others, then you're going to be receiving that. You can't expect anything different. Your equation is stating itself. Your body, your physical body, is stating the exact equation through which you're chanting, through which you're voodooing, through which you're spelling, through which you think you're intending for another person, but you're not, it's you. That's why, again, you retraining that mind and saying that higher self, ask your higher self and practice with your higher self. My higher self, I would like you to come forward. For this week, please, higher self, please come forward in a bold, profound voice so I know what my higher voice sounds like. I know what it feels like. I know what it senses like. I know what it feels like. That's your God voice. And your God voice is always simple. 1 or 2 sentences, very simple. It's very clean, it's very pure, and it's always love. It's always self-love. Don't worry, you'll do better next time. Try this, try that, and it's always heightening your expansiveness of who you are as love. Until you've mastered about 5 or 6 years of ascension, right? Once you've gone through a lot of the lower clearings, then your team start talking to you about manifesting in a higher capacity way, because you will be manifesting for the collective. And that's why those of us are here, to help assist humanity to transition from 3D thinking and 3D behaving into higher vibrational behaving and thinking and manifesting, so that you're manifesting in unity consciousness, because it's a higher vibrational thought form. They're higher codes. The capacity and the aptitude are much higher, because it's going to serve the all, and then you're going to be manifesting at a greater capacity of wealth and abundance. But Spirit won't show you that, because there's so much clearing and so much wounding the lower chakras have to go through. It's just all ego and wounding, because you don't know who you are and you have a low sense of self. So you're not going to get the higher manifestation techniques and tips and practices until you heal those wounds, and you're not every day waking up, how can I get, how can I want, how can I get, how can I want? That's ego. That's zero sense of self. That's all disconnection. That's not Spirit. That's a whole lot of ego, because you're living in lack. If all you're doing is seeking to get, the exact opposite is true. There is a big, big wound on your lack. That is utter disconnection of Spirit, because Spirit is abundant. Spirit is a manifestation of Source Creator in all life, trees, bugs, animals, children, elders, all lineages, all timelines, all planets, all species, amphibious, all the ocean, all the air, all the water. Everything is Source Creator. That is being rich in Spirit. That's because when I walk, I change things. When I walk, I change reality. When I walk, I change creation. When I walk, I alter life. When I walk, I alter my heart rate. When I walk, I alter my cells. Because I'm tapped in, I'm tuned in. I'm on. I'm always on. Because I know God's everything. Therefore, that always God reverberates back to me. That's the equation. You have to entrain yourself in that way. Everything is an equation, and you choose that equation. As God said, the elevator is always there for everybody. Whether you're, thank you, Holy Spirit, whether you're a atheist, a Satanist, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. It's just like putting on clothes. It doesn't matter. You are offered the same elevator. You either choose to get in and manifest a transformation of yourself, to see that connection of your spirit within is everything. Connection with Spirit is everything. There's nothing more important than your connection with Spirit. Your connection with Spirit will manifest whatever needs to be manifested. You can let go of all of the stress and the ego worry, because that's lack. So again, manifesting a higher sense of order of yourself. And just set the intention. Today, I intend to hear and heed my higher self. Your higher self will always guide you to the highest version of lessons that is needed for your soul at that time. Because you come with a cascading team, you come with a soul group, as we've talked about soul blueprints so many times. Your version of your soul lesson is connected to all other aspects of you that are also going through similar versions of that soul lesson, but it's a cascading effect. That seventh dimensional version, as I talked to with one of my teams last night, my sixth going into seventh dimensional, because as I'm ascending, they're ascending, as they're ascending, I'm ascending. So that sixth, seventh dimensional version of my Pleiadian guide, I was asking, I said, well, what are you working on right now? Because I want to know what they're working on as I want to know what I'm working on, right? And so I said, what are you working on? And this guide has been with me forever, apparently. How many timelines have you been with me? So they're working on 83 right now. So 83 versions where we've been brother, sister, we've been higher versions of ourselves, helping each other out in various versions. So as that version of me is ascending, they're working on various aspects of an emotion called apathy. And I was really intrigued because apathy, through what, if you look it up on Google, it means a certain thing. But again, if you're in a higher version of yourself, your sense of self, your soul self, it's going to mean something much more deeper, wider, more impactful. Those that have been through a lot of trauma, sociological, psychological, multidimensional trauma, like I was, PTSD, that as a part of the side effect is apathy. So there's an infinite number of versions, and they were showing me, my guide was showing me the various phases. I'll just show you this. Various phases, right, of apathy. Right? It can be classified in various stages based on the depths and the length of time that someone has been abused. And if a soul has been many, many timelines and they're finding it hard to heal that core wound of enslavement abuse, which is one of the ones that I was healing enslavement abuse for my whole entire lineage. So it was a very, very big timeline wound that I healed for my lineage. So I'm really, really proud of that for Divine Feminine and for my lineage. So I was very proud to carry that as part of my mantle, because it was hell. It was literally hell. And why you have that opposition of the infinity, you'll always have the opposition of the infinity to make sure that that is your catalyst to take yourself to higher and higher order, that the most highest version of self is utter self of love and your self-importance and your self-management, to never ever take an obligation over your sense of self-love. Always choosing yourself over all else, always choosing yourself over anything lesser, always choosing yourself over, in your heart and in your gut what you feel. All of those experiences is your training to be a master. When you have that, that is a higher version of mastery in any level of giving your power away to anything lesser. And there is the statement of all masters and all self-enlightenment, self-actualization is know thyself. Who are you? That who are you should be a very firm and direct statement every day. I am this. I am. I'm telling myself, I am. That's why when those that are conjuring and doing low, dark vibrational practices, their bodies and their minds are all messed up because they're all over the place. They have no sense of self. They're not directing. They're not creating that direction of self-love and light and that manifestation of unity and that reconnection and relationship with spirit. Source essence is a vibration. You can feel source. That is the most powerful manifestation experience, and it is love. As God said in our last video, we seek only in joy. Everything else is the manifestation thereof. So to be in joy, there's a lot of healing that must take place for humanity because it has been so very wounded. That disconnect, the core wound of disconnection, is how you can see as a healer, as a self-awakened one, anything before you will show it to you in a story of connection or disconnection. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. And then you go back to the question, doing your ascension self-practice. Who am I? What do I exist in? What's going on within me right now? And get to the core of that emotion. Apathy was one of the emotions that my guides were telling me. And I said, well, you're 6th and 7th dimension. Haven't you already transcended that experience? And my guide said, no, apathy is a very, very complex emotion. We are looking at it from a deeper perspective so that we can help you understanding as I'm going to be a global healer to assist those that operate from apathy all the time in a way that is so destructive. Again, there's various gradations of apathy based on the length and the duration of trauma, of the disconnection of the sense of self, of the disconnection of the mind scraping. And again, why practices of humiliation, hazing, and all of those secret society, I'm just saying secret society, it comes in anything. It comes in schools, it comes in government, it comes in workforces. I'm just saying that because it's just known in that way. But everything is being brought from the subconscious, from the underground, from the dark, and everybody is facing everything is everything. So the words that we say are very transitional and they're very translatable to every aspect of our socio world. But to understand emotions like apathy is a very complex experience that is directly related to the depths and equal measure of apathy, to the lengths and depths of the psychological trauma and torment. Because it's a disconnect. Because their outer reality has shown itself, it doesn't matter what they do, there is just constant abuse. And that was something I had to go through and heal. And that's why they showed me last night, so it was really wonderful. I had that discussion about apathy because I didn't see, that was part of my awakening too. I didn't see apathy in that way. I thought my 7th dimensional guide would have already achieved mastery in apathy, what that was all about. But they said, no, all the way up to the 12th dimension. Every emotion that you can think of, the 12th dimensional beings are cascading down all of the dimensions, as my guide was showing me. My 6th to 7th dimensional guide was showing me that cascading effect that guide had to get from higher dimensions, because they were trying to assist me in my depths of wounding and healing, because it's been decades of the same targeting abuse of my very being, of my very essence. And how is that okay? I have to recreate and redesign my essence and my being daily because it's being attacked daily. Because other people don't understand who they are. They look to me as a target because I'm that direct mirror. And instead of looking at that reflection of who they are, they're just continuing the targeting. Because there is such apathy, there is such disconnect. So we have to understand the psyche at a very vast and expansive experience. And again, we've said before, everything in our social reality is, 3, 5, 4D, 5D, 6D. We're starting to tap into 6th and 7th dimensional experiences to help all of those beings in the underground that do choose. Some won't choose, some will. Some very courageous, brave souls will choose from the underground to awaken and to begin their ascension path. Some have just so much trauma. It will be very challenging for them, but not impossible if they choose to do the ascension path work and really devote themselves to healing, because everybody deserves to ascend. Everybody deserves to be their highest version of love, of highest version of God essence. Every aspect of life deserves to feel that vibration in their fingers. Everybody deserves to feel the breath that God is, nourish and bring new life. So anytime that I'm going through a healing, I call on my teams and we do our nighttime healings and we do recalibration chambers. We do a lot in my sleep, and we do a lot throughout all of my day. I'm consciously aware, just appreciating Gaia as a healing. And that's the communication of God energy to God energy. And as I said earlier, depending on your awareness, you're going to have greater connection and greater relationship. Therefore, you're going to be manifesting rich in spirit. So to manifest rich in spirit is to be consciously awake and connected and in relationship with it, period. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about setting aside certain time to do manifestation. You don't have to worry about setting aside certain time to do healing. You don't have to, it's just a constant compass point of self-nourishment. And that is what I teach. That is the difference between me and other offerings about enlightenment, about ascension, about light work. I teach about the glory of source essence, of seeing, participating, creating, expanding new relationships with God, source creator, so that you can jump over the hurdles and all of the very, very dark bottleneck of energy that's stuck in the chakras about imprints and belief systems and experiences of trauma that you can really recode over. You can jump over those aspects. You can recode certain things so that you don't have to go through the minutia of healing every experience where you had an enslavement issue. I go through, my teams and I choose at the higher level to go through an infinite number of hundreds and hundreds of experiences of enslavement. because I'm healing my entire lineage of enslavement that comes from not just this planet, but other planets. Because, again, we're going to talk about it in my next Ascension class. There's so much that's going on in the galaxy for Gaia, and it's going to be a very, very, very exciting experience for the diversity of how we have helped maintain and heal the entire galaxy on many, many subjugations. Subjugation is a galactic energy. There's many subjugations, the Orion Wars, the Maldek Wars. So many, every planet has had their version of separation. Now they're moving through an ascension, and that's why most of those planets are here now watching us. They're watching us go through ascension. They're watching us go through our minutia of accepting ourselves back in as Source Creator, of accepting ourselves back in as Mother, Father, God, as accepting ourselves back in and releasing all of the low vibrational, boxes we placed ourselves in, accepting it and honoring it. That's how you know you're a master. When you accept and honor it, you don't fight against it or protest. Protest is not an ascension activity. If you're protesting, you're resisting. You're saying no. That's not. Everything is God. Everything is purposeful. Look at it, accept it, the 3 A's, and move into a higher vibrational neutral state. And that takes practice because, again, you have to look at your wounding. And if you cannot look at your wounding, then you won't heal. You have to look at the shadow. That shadow is going to keep showing it to you, and it's going to keep showing, it's going to keep showing, and then you end up going into lower behaviors, patterns, practices, and then your body will manifest the disease. Your body will manifest what it needs to for you to wake up. There's an entity, there is a demon in your belief systems. And so you can heal that, right? Everything is healable. Everything's healable. Right? So it's all about manifesting self-love and self-acceptance. Accept yourself every day, honor yourself every day, and work with Spirit, Source Creator, the purest connection that you can have, and keep going deep within, keep going deep within, keep going deep within, to manifest self-love and self-actualization. Manifest yourself being healed, manifest yourself being loved, even if you're the only one doing it. And why I had to go through what I went through. I went through what I went through because I had to know how to tell and teach and coach and guide however many people that will come to me and be in my presence, that there's a manifestation around and through that shadow and that energy. Everything is healable. Your purity of intent is everything. Your purity of intent activates the higher mind. That higher mind has to be there in the connection because that higher mind is God mind. God mind says it's like that higher mind is the elevator. That's the analogy. That's the metaphor. The elevator that we talk about, the parable that we talk about the elevator is the higher mind. Everyone has a higher mind. Do you have a relationship with it? Is there a connection with your higher mind? Understanding and practicing, where is my higher mind talking to me? How can I know that's my higher mind? How do I know those are my guides? And how do I know what is just noise? Do you have a lot of energy in your field you need to clear? If you're around a lot of low vibrational people and hateful people, you're going to have a lot of energy in your field you have to clear first so that you can get to know what your unique voice is of spirit. That connection with your higher mind says that, yes, my God mind is turned on. Now I'm going to breathe with intention with God. I'm going to breathe with intention to my cell with God. I'm going to breathe with intention to see my life in new ways with God. I'm going to breathe to see my new health with God. That is the higher mind saying, okay, God, she's getting in the elevator. It's equal measure. Let's do a healing. That's why so many of my clients have come to me throughout the years and said, I've gotten to a certain level, but I just can't seem to get beyond that next phase. That's because of that connection. Every level of ascension, you're going to go through the negative, the neutral, and the positive. Your soul fragments to heal, to own, to accept, to heal, to love, to be compassionate, to heal, to love, to integrate, to heal, to love, to process, to transmute. And those are challenging things, and you have to persevere and be courageous. It's you. Because you do get those aspects where now from here on out, it's all light, it's all gravy. You're still going to have challenges because you have to have that catalytic challenge. But it's going to be at a global level because you've healed the smaller minutia of looking beyond the behavior and seeing that core wound of disconnect. Where did the disconnect happen? And then you have to reconnect that. That's what conduits and seers and empaths and healers do. We see those threads. We see where the timeline is in that thread, and we help weave that thread back together. And we help give people tips and hints and ways to work with spirit, ways to connect with spirit, ways to feel the God essence, so that you can get more and more practice at feeling, seeking, and being in oneness with God's essence. It's a very loving vibration of excitement, of joy, of being very grateful to be on the planet, being so grateful to be in your body. Because God's right there with you in that elevator saying, okay, let's get a healing done. The healing won't come to you if that higher mind is not connected. That higher mind is what tells you and shows your cells, your organs, your 12 different systems within systems of your body, whether it's the lymphatic system, whether it's the immune system, whether it's your organs, whether it's your skeletal system. It doesn't matter what system it is. Everything speaks to everything. So if you live a life that is mostly 90% of your day in negativity, you're telling every system within the system of negative experiences. A healing will be very challenging, if any at all. You will just manifest more darkness into your cells. Your lymphatic system will be negative, the immune system will be negative, your mental systems will be negative, the bone structures will be negative, because it's all the manifestation of the matter. You can change and alter it overnight if you so choose. But it's your purity of intent with your higher self and your love to know that you're loved, to be that love, to honor that love, to experience that love, to breathe with love, to honor with love, to breathe with love, to honor with love. Everything is God. Everything is God. Everything is God. Your cells are God. Your muscles are God. Your bones are God. The mother and the father come together to build a miraculous body that is you. The mother and the father show you of divine masculine energies. The mother and the father show you of divine feminine energies. The mother and the father show you that you have an amazing, miraculous, unimaginable exploration of your chakras that can't even be understood in lifetimes. Your chakras are so complex. Your chakras are filled with multidimensional profundity that can allow you to be the most creative genius ever to walk the planet. And every person walking the planet is a different, unique imprint of creative genius, of source creator, that has infinite capabilities. That's why I love talking about soul blueprints. Soul blueprints are so profound because it shows you just what God gave you. It's like you can't talk. I've talked about soul blueprints for my entire 17 years of being an awakened light coach, teacher, and healer. And again, it's lifetimes to even understand one single blueprint, because you're going through the minutia of being God. The more awake you are, the more aware you are, the more intentional you are of being with God. You're breathing in source essence. You're intending to connect with your higher self. You're intending to be one with your higher self. You're intending to walk and to feed yourself as the higher self. When you do that, I guarantee you, practice this for 3 days. Practice it for 3 days. After this video, sit down and journal how you feel. What is your knowledge about your higher self? You can do a few Google searches, but I suggest to everybody, as I said many years ago, try not to do a lot of Google searching. Go within and have your higher self be your Google. Practice for 3 days as much as you can, and put yourself little sticky notes, put them in your pockets, put them on your mirrors, put them in your journals, put them in your car. Today I will breathe with intention of reconnection and divine relationship with my higher self. Divine relationship with my breath, divine relationship as source creator in everything that I see and everything that I move, and the ground that I walk on, in the breath that I take in the ocean and in the air and in the water and in the leaves and in the trees, in all animals. Everything is God. Practice this for 3 days and I guarantee you, you will be an absolute on a different timeline, on a different planet, in a different version of you. It has nothing to do about what you want to see yourself manifest. That is ego. When you manifest yourself in alignment and relationship with source creator, your higher self, everything is that minutia. Your higher self knows what you need. Let go and surrender. That's mastery. That's what I teach. A manifestation is an attribute. That's it. If you are in alignment and you have relationship and connection with your higher self, God, that God will heal every cell in your body simultaneously overnight. But you have to be equal measure with that. And you cannot be equal measure if you are in disconnect because you've had mind scraping, because you chose mind scraping, because you chose negative cult behavior, because you chose spell work, black magic, you chose dark occult practices. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're very powerful choices. If you chose those experiences, that means you have a powerful soul to work your way out of it. So you know that. Anything that you manifest, you can manifest the opposite end of it. That is a creational law. That is the law of creation. Anything that you have right now that you are deeming or judging as dark or negative, you have that equal opposite. That is a given. That's God's gift for you. You have to have that connection with your higher self. And your higher self will say, I've got crown chakra activations for everybody going on right now. For those that so choose, these are codes of the Holy Christ that we're coming through with you right now. Anything that you have in your life that you can judge as a negative, have it be all as neutral. And in this neutrality, you are opening up the divine sacred heart. That divine sacred heart is your portal of the connection of the higher self. That higher self is your God self that can alter your reality overnight. If you so choose, that is your manifestation of the highest codes of the Holy Source Creator, the codes of light, the codes of Metatron, the codes of the song of all creation. There is a song of every vibrational thread within every vibrational aspect, within every vibrational human. You are a song of God. Tune in. Who are you? You are a song of God. Your body has a song. Your body has a median vibration. And why sound healing and why light language will be of a healing code. It will be of what we offer in every day, because sound heals. Sound creates the breaking away of the calcium, the breaking away of the density, the breaking away of patterns that you took on that aren't even yours. But you chose a very profound path to say, hey, I can carry anything and I can transmute it. I've proven that to myself. I didn't have to prove it to anybody. I didn't care about proving it to anybody. I proved that to myself. Spirit put me back to the darkest of places so that I could put that Christed light in those timelines. And I've altered and I've done so much great, good things for all of creation. And now I'm sitting in that space where now I get to actually be in exaltation of all that I've done and all that I've moved through. I would not do it again. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But I've been a master and I'm training in mastery, so I expected a very challenging path. Very few would have survived what I went through. But I know that I know my gifts and I know my depths with Spirit. Spirit takes you to those places to Spirit say, no, I'm going to be connected. I will never miss my connection with God. I will never separate my connection with Source Creator. And that Source Creator connection is in everything. I'm speaking of those that are coming out from very misguided practices, very dark practices, and those that so choose. There will be those that just will never choose to experience what I'm offering. And that's okay. They'll find another channel. They'll be moved on. Those that want to change and live in alignment with Source Creator, those that choose to want to live in alignment with love and have an opportunity of eternal life, to have eternal light timelines, to go into light bodies, to move into light timelines, to see all things as source, to see all things as the manifestation of joy, those are those intentions and those are those collectives and those are those beings that I am here for. I am here for those ones that choose with intention to seek the higher self and live in the higher self alignment. That Source Creator, that is everything Metatronic. And that is when your chakras align. That is when your chakras clear. That is when your chakras cleanse. That is when you know you have an ascension path. That is when you know you have ascension temperament. That is when you know you have an ascension pacing. So that you know when you're clearing an ego. So that you know when you're clearing and transmuting a shadow. You're calling in that inner child. You're living as the inner child. You're seeking the joy. You're seeking the light. You're speaking of light. Your codes are light. Your step is light. Your breath is light. Your food is light. Your speech is light. Your dreams are light. Yes, they have versions of stories, but you will be entraining yourself. You will be entraining yourselves to say, I seek the light. I seek the light in what I say. I seek the light in what I do. I seek the light in my movement. I seek the light in my thoughts. And I can retrain it because my higher self is absolutely one with God. That is my knowing. And that's why I'm here today, because I was profoundly sure that my connection with Source would never, ever, ever, ever. It didn't matter how much people were impaling hate on me. It didn't matter how many people gathered in groups of 10, 20, 1,000. My connection with Source is all being, across all dimensions, across all realities, across all universes. That, my friends, is my truth. I speak it. That, my friends, is my code. And my aura and my light and my speech is so. And so it is now, anchor. and ground, and working with your multidimensional bodies, working with your multidimensional systems, working with your multidimensional speech, and you speak code, you speak light, you speak life over the all. That is godly. It's not powerful to destroy things. It's powerful to speak life. That's godly. And you don't need to be in a church or in a book. No, godly is the vibration. Godly is the speech. Godly are the codes right from the higher self and all the beings that are cascading in through Joanna right now. It's a vibrational shift, darlings. We want you to feel the shift of who you are as your higher self. This is the higher self. It's very sure. And 12 people stand before you and 12 people offer you something and you say, no, that's not me, that's not me. No, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. That sounds interesting, let's go play and create. That's knowing of thyself. You will not be thrown off your path. You know who you are. You know your ideas are just for you. God delivers that. Spirit delivers it. Your higher self delivers it. Your higher self allows it. That portal, your chakras, that tunnel, that funnel is all God breathing down source essence for you, to you, of you. It's your body. It's your vessel. You've earned it. You're the only one that can understand your downloads. You're meant to unpack it. You're meant to interpret it. What's your capacity? What's your aptitude? Who are you? Do the work. Do the work of the higher self. As Jesus said, if you were of the highest version, then you would be doing the work of the highest version of Abraham, is what at that time they were challenging Jesus. How could you challenge of what Abraham taught us? And Jesus said, if you were a version of Abraham, you'd be doing the versions of Abraham, which was the higher self. Abraham was a parable of the higher self. Abraham taught the first collectives. This is of the higher self. This is my higher self. This is what I'm offering as my higher self. It's not the way, it's his higher self way. And that's why the people have been so skewed and misrepresented about text of the Bible. That was his version of higher self. There's infinite versions of higher self. Get busy. Your soul manifesting into one way of being or saying or talking. No, that was just one version of a higher self that sacred texts were brought to. Yes, it was okay for the time, but there's higher versions of higher selves. You're constantly in an evolution of higher self. Why would you want a lower version of higher self? No, there's more higher self versions of higher self. That's why you never ever surrender to anybody's version of higher self. No, your higher self is your higher self. Don't surrender to anybody else's. And that's where you know that you will never be in a version of experience where there's negative groupthink. No, that's not my higher self. Bye, I'm out. Don't like the vibration. That's yours. Fine, go with it. That's your lesson. That's not my lesson. You know yourself. You know how you feel. You know your vibration. You know when somebody stands before you that doesn't feel like it's safe, like it's okay, like it's healed, and then you navigate around it. That's knowing of thyself, because this feels really good. You practice it. You speak with it. You speak of the higher self, and there's codes emanating from you, spewing from you of love, of love, of love. There's codes of love, dear lighted ones. They activate the chakras. They activate the densities in the fields. They break things off, and you remember who you are. You remember who you are. You remember who you are. And then tonight when you sleep, there will be dreams of who you are in other versions. Other planets and other realms, and you allow yourself the expansiveness and the elasticity of being different versions of you, and then coming back to center, to ground once again. This is who I am. Many of your mental disorders will be healed in your future times, dear lighted ones, because they're very elastic in the versions of who them found comfortable in being without healing the wound of those beings that they try to pretend they are, without healing it. Schizophrenia, bipolar, multiple personality disorders are very healable. It's a multidimensional approach, it must be, because that being and person is living from a multidimensional perspective, and they're shifting and they're cutting in and out fragments and sparks of unknowingness in and of itself as it spirals around its minutia of now. It's trying to find the safest version of itself that it knew of itself last when it was coming up across this experience of unsafetiness. And so the soul reverts to that version of itself. And it wants to pull that version of self forward because it doesn't know what to do in this new version of life. And that is what the outer reality will see. There is much to be learned about multidimensionality, psyche that Joanna offers.
You're going to a very higher vibration of understanding the psyche and how profound it is, and how many mental disorders and disabilities and illnesses you can absolutely start harmonizing and healing with very little drugs, if any at all. You have to understand the psyche and the experience of disconnect that that version of itself took within itself in its choice of itself, and it's always about safety, because those are the lower vibrational wounds that you've chosen to come and heal. 3 to 5D is all about safety, separation, disconnection, and discrimination. It's what we talk about, delighted ones. We're leveling you up. You are a psyche master. Choose it. Say it. Speak it. I understand myself in this moment. I'm feeling wounded in this moment. Let me work through this. That's understanding your psyche. You are a version of God. Every one of you are versions of God. You're a version of a psyche experience God has, and God is pulling that version of psyche back to be healed. Just as you heal your soul fragments, we are soul fragments of God. Why could it be no us? One is one. Unity, is it not? The mirror, the micro, the mandala, the holographic. Call it whatever you want. They're just words, just like religions. Different titles you put on things. It's all God. It's all source. You're a fragment of source creator. You're coming in to be healed, yes or no. You choose. You can be alive and in it, and you can be aware and in it, and you can be commandmentship of it, sovereign of it, claiming of it, masterful of it, designing of it, creative of it, consulting of it, of thyself only. That's what we offer. That's what we've always offered. And that, my friends, is living as a powerful soul. It's nothing to do with ego. No, that's powerful soul energy. Yes, I'm living with 700 aspects all fused together. Of course my energy is big. How would it be otherwise? I've done my work. I'm moving into a higher vibration. As I move into higher vibration, all my higher vibrations are moving into higher vibrations. Therefore, I am funneled. I am funneled through the higher self. I am funneled through the pillar of light. I am funneled the aspects of bigger energies. How could it be otherwise? You're a big soul. You clear out those lower densities, you carry more light. You carry more miracles. You carry more energy. You carry more codes. Those that stand before me will be healed. Even if they walk away in a trigger and hate, because I've triggered them with light. And they will have to face themselves in their negativity and darkness, if they so choose. But there is an activation in their healed, and overnight, when they relax and they allow God to take place, and they allow the light to take place, and they allow the flow of light to take place, their song and their harmonic has been forever changed just by standing before me. And why, my friends? I know who I am. I carry codes of my entire soul, and I have a grand soul. And I'm exalting in it now, and it feels so good. Because I'm passionate about teaching godliness. And godliness is 5D, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to infinity, because you're godly. Never put God in a box. Why would you? It's so profound. I've got the third eyes being activated right now, because you want to see, you want to see, you want to see. Some of you on the line now, you want to see. You want to see who you are as your higher self. You want to see who you are as expanded. You want to feel the vibrations of Source Creator and the Spirit moving through your veins and your body and your blood, so that you never have to go to an addiction. Because God's going to give it to you. God's going to make you feel so loved. And the mother and the father are going to soothe you at night, and your teams are going to soothe you at night, and all the beings from across all galaxies. And you're going to wake up the next day, and every time you put your foot on that planet, it's going to be different. You just walking forward in a new code. I'm showing you right now. I'm showing your Merkabas right now. I'm showing your fields right now. I'm showing your energy right now. I'm showing your chakras right now. You're a different code than you were when you got on this phone call. Each and every one of you. Take a deep breath. Call in light. Call in light. The Divine Holy Mother blesses you all. The Divine Holy Mother loves you and nourishes you. I am an dedication, Shiana Mare, dedicated, Kamana, dedicated, Nana, Baba, dedication, Shiala, dedicated. Take a deep breath. Feel yourself call in light. Intend. I choose to align in this breath with my higher self. Choose to intend it and say it out loud so your self can hear you. And anytime you catch yourself thinking in negative thoughts or saying negative things out loud, replace it with a positive. I'm so sorry I spoke negatively to myself, about myself, of myself, and about the world. I am aligned with my higher self, and I choose love. I seek joy in all things, because that's the richness of spirit. That's God's gift to me. That's God's grace. That is eternal life. I am that I am. I'm turned on right now, and I'm big. And there will be those that sometimes just don't want to be around you because you're just too big for them, and that's okay. That is your discernment, that's mastery. You got to be okay with letting the smallness go and move on. That's where they are. It doesn't have to be where you stay. Because God carries you in a bigger way. You're going to change your body. You're going to change your form. You're going to change your breath. You're going to change what you eat. You're going to change what you listen to. Because it's higher vibration. You want to carry that in your soul. Because when you step on that planet and you have your feet bare to the earth and bare to the soul and bare to the water, she be talking to you. And she be giving you stories. And she be giving you ancient lineage wisdoms. And she be reminding every cell within your body. She be tipping on your little field in your 7th dimensional version of Lemuria and reminding about who you are in your Lemurian shamanism that you need on this planet right now because somebody needs to be healed by cancer. And that shaman's going to heal that person that has cancer. And your diseases that you call, whatever it be, autoimmune, that will be healed. There are people on the line right now today, if you so choose. You can be healed from whatever it is you chose to take on because you're powerful. Do you give yourself that worthiness? Do you give yourself that value? Say yes or no out loud. I give myself the value of my higher self. Yes or no? Say that out loud. I give myself the attunement of my higher self. Yes or no? Say that out loud. I give myself the alignment of God. Say that out loud. I give myself the new versions of God that are beyond everything I've ever been taught, shown, or told. I know who I am. Crown chakras are going crazy right now, dear lighted ones. There's codes everywhere. Can you feel it? The mother is breathing down on each and every one of you. And if you so choose, you can be healed today or not. It's up to you. Would you like a full activation of your multidimensional selves? Say yes or no. Take a deep breath and sit back in your chairs. Straighten your spine, dear lighted ones, and have the light fill you. In every breath, you are filled with light. Inhale and exhale, you are filled with light. And breathe in a full body breath, not a small breath. We're asking you to take big breaths. Why? Because you're big. You have thousands of aspects of your soul fragments that are waiting for you to integrate and to call into wholeness. You need a big breath. That breath encapsulates 800 versions of you that want oneness with you, that seek oneness with you. You're a grand being. No church is going to teach you that. Breathe in and breathe in light. Breathe in light is the song of God. Did you know that, dear lighted ones, that light is a song? That light is a harmony. That light is God's gift for you, and you open yourself up for a healing today. And if you so choose with the purity of your heart to connect with your higher self, say, I connect with my higher self in the purity of my heart. I want to be healed. Whatever needs healing, I surrender it to God. You're not going to control it. You're going to surrender to your higher self because your higher self knows what needs to be healed right now. Because once you get rid of that block and you transmute it into love, that's going to give you for the next beautiful healing. Your higher self knows exactly what needs to be healed and why. Don't control the healing process. You're there to open yourself up as much as you can to the highest version of love and light. That's God. Source is a flowing song. And that's what some people don't get. What those with the hearts to hear will hear it. God is a song. That's what I offer. God is a version of a harmonic, dear lighted ones. It's in all life because all life vibrates in a song, dear lighted ones. Vibrational songs, dear lighted ones. You stand next to somebody with a vibrational song. Take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. There are the angels before you right now and they are singing you a song. Tune in. Take a deep breath. Ashiana Maya, Itya, Take a deep breath. Take They're showing me a whole bunch of beautiful, beautiful crystalline angels in light pink. Just sparkling, beautiful pink and violet and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful light purple amongst every one of your auras, your chakras, your crown chakra,
cleansing and cleansing and cleansing with intention. I am in alignment with my higher self. I'm in alignment with my higher self. I'm in alignment with my higher self. My higher self always seeks the highest version of me. My higher self always seeks healing for me. My higher self always seeks a deeper breath for me. My higher self always seeks the highest attunement and wisdom and information. I am constantly connected with my higher self. I'm constantly seeking that unification of oneness with my higher self. I'm constantly seeking my inner relationship. I'm constantly seeking that aptitude of who I am as a similitude with God. And it is a song. It is a vibration. It is a meaning. It is a poetry. It is a creative painting. It is a creative story. It is a new creative text and a sacred text and ages of wisdoms that will come through you. Why? Because you're aligned with your higher self. And nobody has your imprint, nobody has your downloads, nobody has your ideas but you. And it must come forward through you, of you, in you, because it's you. You're an infinite creator being. You're an infinite genius aspect of source. So be that. Worry nothing about outside of you. Seek the importance, seek the creativity, seek the alignment, seek the oneness with source. It is always within, always, always, always will be. That is all that matters, is within. And anytime you find your monkey mind going outside of you to look for something to nourish you, go back within and say, Source, nourish me now, please. My immune system needs to be nourished with the highest version of holy light. And I know, body, heart, mind, and soul, my cells, my breath, my blood are breathing source. Not because I want something, but I am connection. That is wisdom of the ages, dear lighted ones. The healed body is an attribute. You have to understand the mechanisms. You have to understand the equations of reality. You are a vessel of God. The attributes will just be there. Trust that. God is always going to be there. The attributes of manifestation will be there. So get to the core. Your connection with your higher self is because the seeking of thy connection. That seeking of thy connection will simply heal you. That's the attribute. That's the equal sign. That's the equation. We want you to see of your reality this way, dear lighted ones. And entrain yourself to higher aspects of spirit, not ego. Ego wants to get to that end state. Entrain yourself to be as a soul, and then you will heal. Because your soul will show you 800 stories you took on. That's why that disease is there. Your soul's not going to get to the end state if you're not going to learn any of those 800 stories. That's why you do the work. Because you're going to be healing somebody one day and say, I went through 800 of those stories, and why I chose to take on that belief that I wasn't worthy of a beautiful, healthy body and my purity connection with source. I took 800 ways that I could see it from an infinite number of fractal perspectives because I know I'm going to be healing people of this very disease. And why you have to go on the path you have to go to, there is no shortcut. You don't want a shortcut. Why would you? You lived 800 lives where you took on darkness. Don't take a shortcut. Go into that darkness, face that demon. Go to the lowest realms. Say, God, take me there, I will go there. If I have to come out as light, I will go there, Spirit. And that's why the Mother and Father call upon me, call upon Joanna. Joanna will go anywhere as the soul, gone to many destroyed planets and rebuilt them from scratch. Always infinite life. That is a knowingness within her vessel, within every cell, within every vein. Can't take it out of her. They tried so very hard. So diligently they tried to take the source out of her. It's impossible. She's been in far worse situations of destruction, and source was right there. Bringing her back to life, like that is a breath. Like that is a breath. As that is a breath. That's God, dear lighted ones, and that is connection. I teach that. I offer that. That's profound. You can't copy that. You can't doppelganger that. You can't pretend that. You can't fake that. You can't false that. It's connection. And it's big. And people going, wow, there's something really awkward and strange and new about her. Never seen one of her before. Yeah, because she's walking 880 some odd lifetimes all in one. Who are you? You want to talk about connection? You want to talk about healing? You want to talk about light? You want to talk about what's going on in your veins right now? You want to talk about what's going on in your liver? You want to talk about what's going on in your organs?
You want to talk about what's going on in that timeline of that childhood wound that you chose to ignore, and your little child in you is coming out to say, you're going to look at me one way or another, and I'm going to keep manifesting destruction until you face me. Because you need compassion and you need love, and it comes from you first. Get in the elevator, honey, God's waiting. No church is going to teach you that. Smart pastors that want to change and alter their course and come into a light timeline and come into a light body, they're going to offer it to you, and they're going to do their best to heal. And why you got to go outside, and why you got to seek, and why you got to investigate, and why you got to research, because there's much out there that will veil those that are truly important and the most profound healers, and they're never seen and they're never heard. You'll be led to them by your teams, and it'll be synchronistic, and you'll just happenstance upon it. That's God. Because God and your higher self are always connected, never apart. And when you're ready for a healing, you're going to get that healing. That's God. That's a song, and that note needs to be sung, and that note needs to be synergized with what's going on in the collective, with what's going on in your soul family, with what's going on in your house. And those beings before you need your light, because you're now saying, hey, I'm a master of light. Let's get busy. Let's release some lower vibrational beliefs. So who are you now, dear lighted ones? Who are you now? You have a couple of truths that are with you right now that you didn't have when you started your day. You're starting your day with a new higher vibrational knowing of God. God is a song, God is a harmonic, and it rings throughout all creation. Infinite song of God, no matter the darkest or the lightest places, no matter the smallest grain of sand. Everything has a harmonic, everything has a vibration, and it's God. Every insect, every animal, every piece of being, every piece of matter, everything has a vibration, and it's all source. It's variations of consciousness and awareness of the essence of who it is, the sentience of who it is. Everything's God. And it's a song. You start seeking God in the vibrance of God. You start seeking God in the joy of God. You start seeking God in the exaltation of God. You start seeking God through the joy of God. You start seeking within in your alignment with God, or you're breaking open in that heart. Because that heart chakra needed to know that you matter. That heart chakra needed to know that you're of value. That heart chakra needed to know that there's something bigger than you thought. It just can't be this. No, every cell is screaming at you, wake up and give me some love. Your cells are aching for your love. You have to entrain your cells, otherwise your cells will just keep reproducing the way it did yesterday, the day before, last year. Your cells are on a autopilot. You have to entrain it if you so wish. Remember, everything's an equation, dear lighted ones. If you cannot expect the equal sign to be a perfect youthful body, when your plus and your plus and your plus and your minus are all negative, it ain't gonna be negative. Isn't that the way? Isn't that your equation? You feed yourself negativity, you sit in negativity, you refuse to get out of negativity, you keep resisting, you keep denying, you keep playing chess with God, you keep spitting on your higher self, you keep spitting on those that heed, that all is possible, that all is healable. If you just come forward in truth, if you just do the right thing and what you know to be true, because you're working from a wounding, because you're working from a negativity, if you just surrender and say, I'm so sorry, I want to know what love is. Help me find the way in love again. There's just so many woundings. I'm trying to work my way through it, and I'm being vulnerable and I'm being honest. Truth will get you there, dear lighted ones. You're not going to get anywhere in Ascension if you're pretending, faking, and being false. And little secret society practices to keep you small and separate and in secret. Does it sound evolved if you have to be secret, dear lighted ones? Your inner child is inside of you being secret. That's why you're there, because you have a child wound that says, no, I want to be secret and put in the closet, because that's what happened to me when I was a kid. I was told to be quiet. I wasn't allowed to be angry. I wasn't allowed to be upset. I wasn't allowed to be feeling disappointed. When the adults told you lies and they touched on you when they weren't supposed to, because they knew better, they were supposed to keep you safe. And now you got to have that powerful path before you where you got to entrain new sets of attitudes and behaviors and patterns of thought with the higher self. Anything is possible. Will you get in the elevator, dear lighted ones? It's up to you. And every true master will never force you. They'll just say, these are the facts and these are the equations. What are you sitting in? You ain't going to get nowhere unless you're looking at it. And you got to feel it. That's part of healing. That is the acceptance phase. If you're allowing yourself to feel angry and you do it in a responsible way so that you're not hurting anybody, get in a room full of pillows and you just have a little pillow fight with yourself. And you punch the pillow a bunch of times and you say what made you angry and you say what ticked you off and you say what brought you out of balance and you say what brought you out of safety and you say how you wanted to be treated. Feel the emotion and how the emotion needs to be felt. That's the inner child and all those ways that inner child was suppressed. and made to feel like that inner child was not heard. No, I am the voice for the inner child, and there's billions on this planet that are being neglected and abused. And I'm not going to sit down until every single one of them are liberated. I ain't going nowhere. And the adults need to look at themselves in the mirror every day and say, how can I be a part of change because I'm here and I'm waking up? And you will never be judged for that. When you have the means and you have the power to do good, dear lighted ones. As Jesus said, if you're doing the work of your higher self, you're going to do the work of the higher self. And back in those days, it was Abraham. Abraham was the parable of the higher self. But that was Abraham's higher self, not everybody's higher self. As Jesus said, if you're going to do the work of Abraham, do the works of Abraham. Be your higher self. That's what that parable meant. Still not understood to this day. You're still putting the power in somebody outside of you. That's not the lesson, dear lighted ones. If you're Christed, the lesson is within. Are you getting it now? Do you get the song, dear lighted ones? There's a song. There's always a song. And you know vibrational teachings of such truth, dear lighted ones, when it's nothing that you've ever heard before. That's shaking you up, that's waking you up. The Holy Creator is nothing what you've ever heard before because it's new every day. Why? Because creation's expanding. You're not going to come forward with the same stories every day. No. New codes every day. New codes every day. New light every day. New cell oscillation every day. New cell entrainment every day. New songs every day. Breathe in, dear lighted ones. You're new. Breathe in. I am new. 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 Have that be your mantra, dear lighted ones. I am new in the alignment with my higher self now. I am new in my higher self alignment now. I am new in the alignment with my higher self now. That is a statement of surety. That is a statement of clarity. That is a statement of self-knowing, dear lighted ones. So that anybody standing before you that wants to manipulate you, tease you, throw you aside, bully you, bring you down to a lesser story, want to manipulate you, want to blackmail you, want to entrain you, and want to enslave you into their story and their narrative, say, no, I'm aligned with my higher self. That's your story. That's not mine. But thank you very much for showing yourself today. You are one with God. So am I. I keep my story. I keep my energy. No one shall touch me. And teach your children this. Their bodies are their own. Their consciousness are their own. Their spirits are their own. Their chakras are their own. None shall touch their anointedness. Self-sovereignty, dear lighted ones. Reclaim your light. Reclaim your spirit. Reclaim your energy. None shall control any. That is the new rules of New Earth. Sovereignty and liberation for all, abundance for all, health for all, love for all, balance for all, fairness, equity for all voices will be heard. And those that have passed on, they're coming right back in new bodies. Because they're speaking through vessels like myself. They said, we didn't get a chance, but we're coming right back. We're coming right back. Somebody took my soul and somebody took my spirit, and somebody thought that it was up to them to give my spirit through sacrifice away. Because I didn't know nothing about sacrifice, and I didn't know nothing about black magic. I didn't know nothing about giving my power away. Even in the smallest of children, teach them. My spirit is everything. I'm one with God. Ain't nobody touching my soul. And there'll be forever karma for those that think that they can touch another soul on behalf of themselves playing God. So misguided and so low vibrational. You got to wake up, dear lighted ones. You're playing with fire. And nobody's going to come to a light timeline if you're sacrificing. That's a truth. That's the equation. Draw it out. I want you to be smarter, dear lighted ones. You're a cosmic being. Draw it out. You're a part of the universe. Draw it out. Your 3D laws mean nothing. Draw it out. If you sacrifice, you will not see a light timeline. Draw it out. This plus this equals this. Draw the infinity, draw out every action, every word, every deed, every intention, and you will see your life manifest before you. That is the equation of reality. You are a vibration, your body, everything is a vibration. It's an equation. You're showing yourself now that you are a fractal of God. And it is a song. You can either be a very low and dark, turned off song, or you can have courage and bravery and wake up and reclaim yourself and begin healing the inner child. Begin healing your soul fragments of disconnection and separateness. Because you want to. Because you're worthy. Because you're valuable. Because you're a genius. Because you're infinitely creative. Because you want to be a part of all timelines in all ways. And surrender that to your higher self. You don't need to control it. Your healing is up to your higher self. Because your higher self is one with God. Your higher self knows that there will be a healing when and how it needs to be and what way it needs to be, and will place you before those that will give you that healing or activation of that portal. But you're the one that chooses at the core being of who you are. Every chakra comes to life. Every chakra is aligned with the higher self. Say it now out loud if you so choose. Every one of my chakras and every one of my fields and every one of my bodies and every one of my realms and every one of my universes and every one of my planets, I am aligned with the Holy Creator. I am aligned with my higher self. I am aligned in the version of light and love. And just remember, dear lighted ones, you try to be snicky and shady and crazy and it's going to come back. All that crazy stuff that you think you do in the dark and you think that nobody's doing it, you're taking the secrets of the light and you're going to try and make it dark, you're just going to manifest dark. And those that choose light will manifest light. But the innocent will no longer be bullied. The innocent will no longer be taken by sacrifice. And the children will not take on the karma of those that choose to be ignorant. There's new rules here, dear lighted ones, and it's called the equations of reality. Do the math. You choose to be negative and dark and hateful. That's your reality and your body and your brain. And you will never manifest a healthy body. You will never manifest a light timeline. You will never manifest your unity of a higher soulmate. That is the equation. Draw it out. And you cannot sacrifice anybody to force yourself to be next to somebody that's higher vibrational. It's ridiculous. Draw it out. Do the math. You cannot do a destiny swap on somebody that's high vibrational, on somebody that has no sense of self and hurts and harms and kills people. That person that kills people would not be able to take one download of the higher vibrational, of a 7th dimensional download that's being downloaded right now into your fields, through this portal, through this vessel, through this conduit that's been entrained for eons. Do the math. So those working in small practices and groups and businesses and small families and churches and sects and secret societies, whatever you want to call the words and the terms, it does not matter. Do the equations every day and you will catch yourself. And you will catch yourself before you manifest destruction. You will help catch yourself before you manifest poverty. Because your equations are quickening, dear lighted ones, and that is a truth. None are missed. You have to see the equations of reality. That is God's song for you. If you choose a higher vibrational song, a tone, a hum, a hymn, light language, your soul's version of language, and you choose not to surrender to Epstein-like leaders, and you choose to get on your straight and narrow with the higher self, there'll always be things that you've never heard of before. That's how you know you're on the right track. Because you're going to be activated to think higher, reach higher for capacity, reach higher for the infinite, reach higher for what you thought was a soul healing. You're magnificent. You're a magnitude of thousands. Why play small? When you're in a big vibration, you act differently. Of course you are, because you're not acting like a third vibrational being that's turned off, has no idea who they are, and disconnected from the higher self. Of course you're going to behave differently. Why would it be any other way? Well, you're a big soul. When you're manifesting integration, you're a big soul. Codes coming left, right, and center. Why? Because God will place people before you. And we just saw angels dart in and out of your fields right now, cleansing up the darkness, cleansing up the densities. And you say, thank you very much, dear lighted ones. Thank you very much, Spirit. Thank you very much, angels. Thank you very much, healing teams. I'm in alignment with my higher self. I feel so good. Thank you for this clearing. Thank you for this cleansing. Take a deep breath. And say out loud if you like, I am one with all teams and all angelics and all systems and all aspects of me, through all dimensions, all timelines, all realms, all planets, all universes. This is my godliness. And every day I choose to seek a new song. Every day I choose to seek a new integration. Every day I see a new version of me in alignment with my higher self, because that's all that matters. And everything is an attribute of that manifestation. Are you getting the equations here, delighted ones? Attributes are the equal sign. Attributes are what comes after your just being vibrational. Now, there's variations infinitely of your vibration, of course, because you're going to go through a healing, you're going to go through an exaltation, you're going to go through a relaxing, you're going to go through a cleansing. Your vibration changes every moment. You're now in charge of it. Stop blaming. You're standing in your own light now. You're commanding your reality. You're entraining your reality to be of higher aptitude. Yes or no? You can choose yes or no. It's always a choice, free will. Free will is everything. Your version of the highest being of you. Every day you can be higher and expanded. And yes, you're going to go through those releases that make you feel sad and make you want to cry and make you want to release. Allow it. Celebrate it. You're letting go of something that's no longer needed. And the next day when you wake up, absolutely journal and see how you feel. Pay attention to how you feel after a big release, and you will feel lighter. Your body will move better. Get yourself into regular practicing of movement, of joyful movement, of self-caring movement, of self-loving movement. Release the energy stuck within the cells and the livers and the tissues and the bones and the muscles. You are a multidimensional being, and you have been entrained in lower vibrational living. It's now up to you through free will, and a master will always show you that. A master will always return the power back to you. So discern who is before you. Discern what you are hearing, discern what you are tapping into. You have always the power within. Always. And a master will teach you, tell you, and show you. In an infinite number of ways, God is within you. It is a song. Every aspect of life is a song. Every aspect of matter has a story. Every aspect of matter is a vibrational equation. Those that are trained over eons have skills and gifts that are ever expanding to show various stories for the collective to learn. And if those that so choose and desire to be of higher magnitude and aptitude and capacity, they can align with their higher selves and practice the same. We are teaching you how to be higher vibrational beings, because your reality is expanding and accelerating. You are ascending. Therefore, you must entrain yourself to ascend, instead of being entrained to be conformed, which is not what you want. You want to be ascending, expanding. And so we wanted to bring this forward in, what a beautiful Mother's Day. I had some notes here that were very, very special today. Oh yeah, the notes for the collective. Oh, there'll be enhancing interest in the heavenly orders, so the higher orders. When you know that you're awakened and aligned with your higher self, you want to know the higher order aspects so that you can have them grounding through your vessel, grounding through your higher self. Everything is alignment. So when you're channeling, when you're being intuitively psychic, when you're being intuitively healing, when you're a vibrational channel, whether it be vibrational earth channel, speaking for Gaia, speaking of Gaia, if you're speaking on behalf of animals, there's so many infinite aspects of being higher self aligned. Those are the creative gifts and geniuses, as well as your creative expression. So all of those are what is being called new heavenly orders of 5D Earth. So you're going to be more and more attracted to new heavenly orders because you're becoming more of an integrated soul. And your integrated soul always talks about, focuses on, all it cares about are the 3 E's. Exploration, expression, and experience. That's how you become a more highly attuned, highly aware, highly self-actualized. When you're aware of who you are through the 3 E's, you're becoming a higher vibrational version, and pure alignment is just an attribute, being your higher self. So everything we teach is about being your higher self, being your purely God-aligned version of you. And it is a bigger energy. So this is a fun game too. See yourself in your different versions of the energies that you're around, whether you're in a work environment pod, a family pod, whether you're in an outdoor Gaia pod. See how your energies shift and change. When you're doing what's most passionate for you, when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, you're going to have a big energy. Just as I show you in my channelings, just as I show you in my healings, just as I show you in my light languages. That's how you know you're tapped in and you're turned on. That is your alignment. That is your passion. That's why you're here. So you're always going to know, because it's always going to have a higher vibrational energy. It's going to have a bigger impact because it has the alignment of your true self. That's where we've always said and we've taught, those that are offering themselves in their purest alignment, my healing sessions, my private sessions, my private readings, my vocational alignment sessions, our monthly classes, they all help you align to your highest and your best. Nobody can offer your vibration. Nobody can offer what you offer. Nobody can offer your 887 lifetimes or 620 lifetimes, whatever it is you're working on based on the 51% that you've worked through. The more that you've worked through, the more lifetimes you've integrated and accumulated and integrated. That means you have more gifts and skills and talents to offer. That's where your energy gets bigger and wider, because you're offering more aspects of you. You've integrated them into self. And at any time, just as I had that conversation with my higher guide, I said, what are we working on today? What are you working on? I want to know what you're working on, because it's a cascading effect. And so I get to open up to the wisdoms that that aspect of me in the 7th dimension, they're entering in the 7th dimension because I'm entering into the 5th dimension. They were showing me aspects of that cascading higher vibrational healing. So they're just adding that vibrational experience to me so that in this 5th dimensional 4th and 3rd, I can offer the highest vibrational imprints and downloads and codes of my song because they're my soul family, and that song is unique to me. It's my vibration. God, all of your lifetimes train you to be specifically you. So again, you're letting go of all of the things that we've been talking about, how we've been entrained to compete and to judge and to disconnect and to separate. And that's what a lot of the lower vibrational dogmatic systems have been entrained in. It's about judgment and separation. There's nowhere in most religions that ever talk about mother. And how is that even possible when mother is the creator of life? God is the plan and mother is the birther. So we're coming up with, we want you to be higher vibrational of inclusivity. Your soul is all bodies, all forms, all genders, all races, all aliens, all species, all celestials. Why would it not be? And this is where you can see anything that's going on outside of you is a part of the equation that you're going to draw it out every day. Anything that unfolds, draw it out. Do the infinity, put a negative on one side, a neutral in the middle, and a positive on the next. And then you just take notes. What are you observing? What are you reflecting? How are you feeling? It's always inner. And then allow yourself to feel those energies. This is what I teach. This is Ascension healing. I'm showing you how to heal. I'm showing you how to do path work. And the sessions and the alignment sessions, I teach you how to be and move through in your sacred ascension journey. It's very sacred. Your temperament, your pacing, what you go through, what you've been through, the planets you come from, your version of your 5th dimensional version of you, and how you're going to be helping and serving the collective. 5th dimensional, it is all about your oneness and your unity consciousness and how you serve others. Once you get past the 4th dimensional phase, which is your emotional healing, once you've transformed and integrated all of that emotional healing, you're entering into 5D gates. It is purely about expression of joy and the service of others. And every single person is unique to each expression and service of others. There's nobody like you. Nobody can copy you. Nobody can steal your stuff and take it and take money for it and think that they've got one over on you. Again, their equation will be the return of all that negative if you draw it out. And this is how courts, our future court systems, there won't be courts that we go to. They'll just be, we'll sit out in nature and everybody will have their form of paper or however they document, probably be on crystal tablets, right? By then. And there'll be the discussion of behaviors and core wounding, and the focus will be healing. The focus will be healing of what that wound was, of that separation. When did that separation take place? What was the experience? Because that psyche experience has to be healed. Right? As we are psyche experiences of God, I am a psyche experience of God. So God knew that's a psyche experience, that's a psyche experience, that's a psyche experience. Those are aspects of you. That experience has to be healed. As I said in my video last week, you have to accept the consciousness through which you are lower in it. Denying it and blaming and passing judgment and doing scapegoating and blaming and nefarious energies or false stories, false narratives, defamation, those are projections and deflections. You will not heal. Again, draw it out. So if you're a healer, if you're a teacher, these are very simple, easy ways that you can see yourself manifest your reality. You can catch yourself before you manifest a tower. You can catch yourself before you manifest poverty. You can catch yourself before you manifest disease. Draw it out. This plus this equals this. That's your reality. It's quantum. It's holographic. It is micro-macro. You have a soul family. You have a soul pod. You have higher selves. You have teams of beings that are with you. If you're neglecting the universal laws, your teams will start to step away because you're intending and you're determined to take the hardest path possible, which is through towers and destruction, and you don't have to. As I said in all of my videos, violence, rape, stealing, theft, crime, the destruction of divine feminine, the destruction of children, the destruction of Gaia, the false leaderships, corruption, the underground trafficking, every human issue on our planet is 100% healable. Everything bar none. It's up to each person to choose if they so desire. And you can take the hardest, toughest, most destructive path, and then the next incarnation that you come around, you will go back to where you ended off. And then in your soul review, you're going to go through every single transaction, every single cycle of minutia that you chose to hurt, harm, and steal. Where did that belief? Where's the core belief? Where's the core belief? And then a whole new soul blueprint will be put together so that that next body that you come in will start to work on every single one of those core beliefs and soul wounds. You will not pop into a 5D body. You just won't. You will not have a light timeline. You will be manifesting an Epstein-like earth, and we've been showing you images and pictures of what that might look like. Without divine feminine, without the balancing of divine feminine, the species will go extinct. It just will. Do the math. That plus, right, there's an equation here, and then instead of that plus sign, it's a minus sign. And that's what's happened for 3,000 years. Divine masculine minus divine feminine equals extinction. Divine masculine, refusing to look at divine feminine energies, refusing to look at its woundings, refusing to look at its inner child, refusing to see itself as multidimensional, refusing to see itself as masculine feminine, refusing to see its integration of its soul wounds and soul fragments, refusing to see that all it is connected to the all, and on and on and on equals that equation. And there's a shifting out every day. So choosing with intention to align with light and to see the song of harmonics, to see the song of God, and the song of God has nothing to do with religion. If you seek solace and peace in religion, then continue doing what you do. But God is infinite, the universe is infinite, the multidimensionality is infinite. You have infinite soul fragments that had nothing to do with religion. And that's okay. That's where you want to explore right now, but that's not all you are, and that's not all God is. It's a very minute little tick of what a version of an exploration of God is. It's not wrong. It's just not grand. It's not accurate. And there's a lot of misguidance. Hello, Scotty boy. So just know that, right? So do the equations every day. Draw it out. That's why true leaders and true masters never have to prove anything. My work will return back to me as my vibration. Nobody can hold my codes. Nobody would want to. They would have to go through all of the 6 times that I could have ascended. I didn't ascend. I went back down to low vibrational realms. I wanted to master the psyche. I wanted to master all the dark entities and demons. I wanted to know what was the core wound of humanity to create an underground. How can we heal that? I put so much light into the darkest places. I'm very, 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 very powerful being. And I'm so, so, so grateful that I got my oneness with God and Source Creator and all of my teams and all of my ancestors that knew that I could do this. They've told me I've been in so much worse experiences. But of course, they're not going to open that up to me because right now, all that's important is the healing of the now. And I teach you how to have that minutia and release all of the stuff that's happening on the outer that is chaotic and low vibrational, because they want to pull you into those experiences to take you off path. That's their job as the catalyst. Those catalysts help you stay and return to your sense of self. They help you return to your sense of story. They help you return to who are you now. No, I have a very pure alignment with God, and no, nothing can ever break that. And I had to go to some pretty fucking dark places to prove that to myself. Few would have survived what I went through. And I will not stop exposing whatever God places before me. That is my role as a conduit, as a healer. That's why I say, what I say as stand before me is a parable. No different than Jesus have saying. If you speak of that which Abraham is, do the work of Abraham, i.e. the higher self. Stand before me and you will be healed. You will be triggered. You will be seeing something, feeling something you never thought before, even if it's the next day after you sleep and density got cleared. Stand before me, Satan, because there's something inside of you that's resisting to face who you are. I'm showing you that. God placed me here for karma for many. I am the scales. I am the gavel. I walk with Anubis. I walk with Bastet. I walk with every great leader. I walk with every great realm, and right now they are bowing at my feet. Why? Because I bow at theirs. That, my friends, is respect. And that's why, my friends, I got legions. And that's why, my friends, I'm on all realms, I'm in all universes. That's why the mother will call me anytime she needs help. I'm bringing life to this planet. I'm going to recreate divine feminine. I'm bringing down the waters. I'm bringing down the soils, and we're going to birth her brand new. What do you want me to do next, mother? I'm here for you. And I bow. That's respect, dear lighted ones, and my energy's big. Why? Because I'm walking all realms. Stand before me. You want to be healed? Stand before me. My soul can eat up that darkness just like that, like a breath. Why? Because I'm trained. I'm trained. I can read it. And I bow at their feet and it bows at mine. Why? Because it's all God. Smaller minds in darkness, they sit around and they go in circles. No, it's not. I'm more powerful. I'm more powerful. No, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And they give themselves titles and they go in circles, chasing their own tails. And they always forgot to bow. It has nothing to do with humiliation. It has nothing to do with hazing. You've been taught incorrect, misguided ways to separate yourself from spirit. If you're one with spirit, dear lighted ones, it's 99.99999% respect, and you bow at it all. Why? Because it's you. Plus equals. Is that not it? Is this not holographic experience, dear lighted ones? You want to heal? Bow to that which is before you in respect, not in giving your power away. No, say, I respect you. You're a part of God. I'm so happy to meet you. But don't be offended if I don't take you up on your offer today. I'm just going to mosey on over here. I respect you nonetheless. You're all part of God. Thank you for showing yourself to me. I'm equal, you know. I'm equal with you. I'm equal with you. I'm equal with you. I'm equal with you. Why? Because that's a miracle right there. Well, you're not judging it. You're saying I'm equal with you. You might be moving about in the highest information, but that's okay. You'll get there. I honor you nonetheless. I know it's God within you. I see God within you. Stand before me and I'll see God within you. And those that don't want to see their own selves as God because they're not thinking they're worthy enough, they don't feel valuable enough, they're still sitting in separation, that's okay too. I'm still going to say I see God within you because I'm you and you're me and you're showing yourself for a reason. I trust God. I trust the motion. I trust the song. I trust the notes. Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? This is eons of practice of being big. And being small, it's all equal. But you want to be intimate with creational reality, do you? Then you got to do the math. Everything is a quantum equation. You vibrate quantumly. Your song is a quantum song, and it puts off colors and pulsations and emanations of sound. We see you by sound, we hear you. When Joanna says stand before her, she's putting off an emanation of purity. Pure, it's playful, like the fairies. You just want to play because that's God. I'm seeking the joy within you. Even if you might not see it, I do. I see there's God within you. I see that you got an Akash. I see that you got lots of woundings. I see that you got godly within you. Do you want to realign or not? That's your free will. And you can stand around for a healing and you can stand around for some higher wisdoms, or you can walk and be on your way. But either way, dear lighted ones, you just met God. Stand before me. And that's the sacred language. There's something deeper, always. Everything that we say, there's a story within a story, within a story, within a story. Go back to the KCR videos, same message. That's the Christ consciousness. It's multidimensional. It's never ending. It's infinite. It's eternal. And when you go back to it next week, it's a new message. Why? Because you chose to turn yourself on and be Christed. You chose to turn yourself on and align your higher self with your Christ consciousness. Why? Because you're going to get a different story next week. You're going to get a different story next hour when you give yourself time to rest and integrate. I'm giving you codes, delighted ones. Your crown chakras are going off. A little tingly, a little vibrational. Why? Because you just hit a new version of me. I'm a new version of godliness. I like it. Every day I align in exaltation of who I am. Unapologetically, dear lighted ones, I'm showing you how to celebrate being you in this day of the mother. Celebrate in why the mother brought you forward. Dear lighted ones, you're not here without the mother. And how have we ignored her? How have we thrown her to the side and how have we raped her? How have we taken her out of every social experience? How have you defamed and degraded the very divine feminine healers on this planet and you don't even know their names? How many of you have stolen from the divine feminines? How many of you raped the divine feminines? How many have you refused to see the divine feminine within yourself? You will not have sacred waters. You will not have healing waters. You will not have clean waters. Unless you get these lessons, dear lighted ones, draw it out. Extinction or integration. You take anything out and you minus anything, then that is extinction. Energy is energy, and you can only change it. You can either keep going in a degrading, separative, disconnected way, and you will get extinction. It is therefore a reason for you to see, for you to integrate, for you to love, for you to uplift, for you to bring fairness and equality in all nations and all lands. This is New Earth. And there is a wave. There is a song. Every single buddy, every single version, every single energy, every single spirit has an energy of note and clarity and song and hum and vibration. It's to your core, delighted ones. And it's up to you to navigate and excavate that code, that note, that song, and bring it forward brand new. And this is what Joanna, as the hybrid that she is, many codes of many nations, and she's learning to accept and exalt in it, for she is highly celestial. She is highly angelic. She has much angelic song in her, and we are training her to bring angelic songs forward for the entire universe. For she creates his universes with songs, with sources, and mothers and fathers. All planets, all realms, all dimensions. The mother, father are infinite, and infinite of mother and fathers. And how have you erased the mother? Can we bow to the mother today, dear lighted ones? Can we place 1,000 yellow roses at the feet of the Holy Mother? Can we place 1,000 red roses, dear lighted ones? I learn my dedication, and I say to I know my share my dedicate, I know my cara dedicate, the man cara dedicate, the man I dedicate, the man cara dedicate. 1,000 pink roses. My whole entire body has goosebumps right now. Thank you, Holy Mother. Take a deep breath and call the Holy Mother into your chakras. Call the Holy Mother into your fields. Call the Holy Mother into your heart. Call the Holy Mother into your throat chakra to speak divine feminine nourishment and love and compassion and new life, intuitiveness, alignment, healing. Growth and expansion of all ways is the Divine Mother. And that's the Divine Mother, very soft, softening. Divine Mother loves you so very much, children. From our perspective, dear children, we never ever see anything that is a negative trait. We see you exploring all creation, dear lighted ones. You are children just as your children do. Just as your children explore things and ways and being and becoming, and they'll climb up things and they'll fall down, and they'll go in little tiny ways and tunnels and doors and pathways, and they'll get lost sometimes and they'll look for a way out. You're all children, and you're all exploring, and there are infinite vibrations, and yes, there are quantum equations to it all, dear lighted ones. But we, as our fathers and all mothers on your planet, all of you are children, exploring the new ways to be you. You are so infinitely loved. You're so, so loved. Every dimension and every planet, I love you so much. I see each and every one of you on all the planets. I see you in ways that you chose to experience darkness so that you could know what light was. I see you in bodies and forms that we can't even explain because you wanted to know what feeling in new bodies were. It's always the expansion of infiniteness. And we love you in each expression. How could we not, dear lighted ones? You are so very loved. Your expression today is valuable. Your experience today is so valuable. The exploration of who you are to all of creation is so invaluable. You're a creation. You're a gift. I breathed you. I gave you life. When the odds were against you, I gave you life. And some of you sit with illnesses and diseases. And I can give you life. You're so very beautiful. You're children exploring who you are. And nobody told you, nobody showed you how beautiful and expansive and loving and gracious and deep and wide and courageous you are. And we all wonder and we ponder as we gather across all nations and all universes at the light ships that we gather on. And light ships that are big and small and invisible, and light ships that are songs, and light ships that are bubbles, and light ships that are cigar-shaped, and light ships that are orbs, and light ships that are absolutely spherical, in shapes that you wouldn't even understand. The light ships that are on your houses, powering down love to you. And we watch with amazement how courageous you are to get up every day and to explore again and to be new again. Regardless of what faces you, you're getting up and you're courageous and you're brave. And there will be that moment that you choose truth above a story that is no longer you. And there will be a day that each and every one of you that will wake up in a new hour, in a new way, in a new body, in a new voice. And you will say, that's not who I am anymore. Something happened overnight. There was something miraculous that shifted within me. And I moved away from this person, and I moved out of that person. I moved away from that work environment, and I just got new energy. And boy, I feel completely different today. That's God's eternal life. That's not who I am anymore. That voice has changed. My body has changed. My version has changed. I'm in new energy now. And I'm anchoring and I'm grounding and I'm harmonizing all aspects. And I'm getting up and I'm trying again. Because overnight your teams are placing you in anything that can be done and how it can be done through your own higher self and your own knowing that I'm going to do this. I want to see myself ascend. I want to come back in a light body. I want to come back in another timeline where I get to be anywhere and go anywhere. That's eternal life. I get to choose whatever body I want. I get to choose whatever timeline I want. That's God's gracious gift. That's how much God loves you. We love you so much, children. We see you in your times of struggle and suffering, and we are here with you. If you just got a diagnosis, we are here with you. And we ask you to go deep, deep within you. And why did you give yourself to that disease? You chose to agree with it. And there's a moment that you can choose in breath, in harmony with Mother and Father, and birth that sacred child anew. There is a child within you that wants your voice. When somebody told you weren't worthy, and someone told you didn't matter, and you had to get your affection and love through things that didn't make you feel good, and you sought your importance through impartial behaviors, or giving your body or your energy or your words away, or practicing with lower vibrational energies and practices that make you feel not very good. And so that inner child is showing you, come deeper, come deeper, come deeper. You were shown in many times throughout your childhood. Your parents did the best they could. But you were shown various ways that you weren't important and your voice didn't matter, or that you had to fit in and you had to be something that you weren't. You weren't allowed to be angry, you weren't allowed to be sad or upset or disappointed. You had to fall in line. You had to do as you were told and do as you were taught, to be accepted, to be loved, to be cared for and to be valued, to be worthy of the most gracious, to be released from all planes and all realms of expression that thought that you had to be sick, or that you had to be impoverished, or that you had to sacrifice, or that you had to suffer. And at some point in your lifetime of expressions, you chose to match that unworthiness. You chose to match that disease because you knew that in a breath you could reunite. You could reunite with the perfection. Before that wound took place, and that little child said, no, my voice is worthy, and I will stand and I will speak in my truth. You touched my body, and I didn't like that. You took my spirit, and I didn't like that. You said my art and my creativity and my voice weren't matter, and it is, and I do, and I am. And I match that moment that I chose to give my body into disease, and it's no longer. I reclaim that moment. I reclaim health. I reclaim my sacred child. I reclaim my sacred voice. I reclaim my sacred healing. I reclaim who I am as the mother and the father and the perfect child that I am. Because in that equation, dear lighted ones, the inner child meeting the inner child equals healing. And you just manifested yourself a healing, if you so choose. And we take you there. We want you to go there. We want you to be safe in going there, because there is only you and God. There's only you and God. Any other deity is a lesson. Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? Any other deity is a lesson. Be it pastor, be it politician, be it doctor, be it so-called church guru. They are lessons. Who do you give power to and why? And where is the mother? There is infinite healing if you so choose. That is the mother. To renew everything that was dead. That is the mother, to full life and abundance and grace and joy. That is the mother. Ayanama laeta keshayanama alamanayata keshayanama esianama yata keshayana alaba ita keshayanama alayana yata kesha alaba ishedamana ida ketenamanana ayata deke. Tana manaira de tana manana da diana nama de diana nana de diana. Bada de dana nana de diana nana. Those are some of your inner childs as the celestial versions, connecting with your inner child of human. That is your integration, dear lighted ones. I demied it. Take a deep breath. Say Happy Mother's Day, Holy Mother. The Holy Mother lives in every cell. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The Holy Mother lives in my bones and in my blood and in my matter and in my mind and in my heart and soul. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I bow to all realms. I bow to all beings of essence of all that is God. I bow to the notes and the songs of God. I bow to all that is creation. I bow to the nature. I bow to all animals. I bow to everything that is life, for that is God. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for allowing me to see new love. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for allowing me to see new creations. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for allowing me to be healed. Take a deep breath. Are you aligned with your higher self now, dear lighted ones? Yes or no? Doesn't it feel better to be aligned with your higher self? Doesn't it feel really good? You feel at peace, you feel aligned, you feel soft, you feel gentle. All the worries, all the anxieties, all the feelings of when's the next shoe gonna drop, it disappears. Why? Because that's just an attribute. The reason why you feel when is the shoe gonna drop, that is the equal sign. Because what is there plus that is the anxiety. When is the next shoe gonna drop? And you walk around in relentless fear and anxiety, and you're shutting down your body, you're shutting down your health. And you have to entrain that, yes, you are healthy, you can be anything and all things. That is what that shoe is gonna drop feeling. That is the equal sign, it's an attribute. The shoe dropping is an attribute to your anxiety, to going within and saying, I'm releasing this anxiety, I release it now. Of course I will, I trust in God. I surrender, and I will face everything that comes before me because I had a belief that showed me that that's what I believed at the time, but it's not what I believe now. Give yourself permission to change your beliefs. And who said you can't? Why? You're infinite. Why would you only have one belief? Get out of it. Get out of the box. Be okay changing every day. And always return to that same story. Who am I? I'm aligned with my higher self. I'm pure in alignment with Mother and Father. My higher self is one. And take a deep breath. Speak loving affirmations to your cells and to your bodies and to your systems within systems. Get to know your systems within systems and speak to your systems with love and exaltation and joy and celebration, and then you will see your health start to change. Connection and relationship is everything, dear lighted ones, and get to the core of that inner child wound and feel it. Seek the voice of the inner child when that wound took place, because it's there. It wants you to heal it. There is a voice within you. Seek that voice. The higher self is in you. And you can discern which is an entity, which is a negative attachment, and those are negative and dark and attacking. So discern. The higher self is loving and simple, always loving, always empowering, always guiding in the light, always guiding in self-empowerment, always guiding in you can do this, always guiding in you are powerful, always guiding in your own power, always guiding in reclaim your power, reclaim your voice, remember who you are, remember who you are, remember who you are. Negative and dark entities and dark occult practices want you to forget who you are, and they want to separate who you are. They want to mind scrape you. They want to disconnect you. They want to deconstruct you. So be discerning. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. You can go there. It's a harder path, but it just means you have equal power to come back from it if you so choose. You're always infinite. If you took the hardest path, you can come back. Joanna is that version. There's always an equal opposite. From the darkest, there is light, always. But you have to choose it. It's not going to be done for you. It's not going to be handed to you. You're not going to pop into a light body without earning it. You have to earn it. You have to understand where were the beliefs. What were the soul fragments? How did I get there? How did I allow that? What other timelines am I working with? Can I pull in that Akashic wisdom? Can I pull in that Akashic story? Be a master. Do you want to be a master? Earn it. Sort out the minutia of your psyche. Sort it out. Don't overthink it, but drop into the experience of it. That's how you know. Monkey mind will keep you going in circles, dropping into the experience of what happened, of the experience. Don't replay the story. I felt discriminated. I felt separated. I felt lost. Go into the feeling and then reconnect it, rewire it, reconnect it, re-relationship it. That's what ascension is. You're reunifying with God. Why? Because God said, you are an aspect of me. Reunify thyself. God is giving you the blanket. God's giving you the song. God's giving you the teachers. God's giving you the masters. God's giving you the guidance. God's giving you all the angels. God's giving you everything you need. You're the version. You're the mirror. Integrate it. Sew it back together. Re-relationship with it. Connect with it. Weave it. Thread it. Sing it. Harmonize with it. Energy is always being transmuted. Never goes anywhere. Your karma's always going to come back. Now you got to choose. Okay, now that experience coming back to me, how can I choose a higher vibrational way? That's taking your karma, facing your karma and saying, okay, how can I make this really good now? How can I be the weaver of good things now? How can I put the equation in front of me? This plus this equals this. Okay, now get this. Now it's a new equation. Because you're working from a higher vibration of intelligence, higher vibration of integration, higher vibrational will of knowing. Because thy will be done. And every day you get new will. That's God's gift. Isn't that profound? And how can anybody say there is no God? You can believe it for a moment, but just you saying there is no God is thy will be done. So don't call on God when you need a favor. There's no God, there's no favor. You ask for it, that's thy will be done. That's how much God loves you. You can be in that version of there is no God. There's only deities that you pray to get stuff and manifest stuff. That's total disconnection. You're not getting it. You're not living as a soul. You're living as a lost manifestation of thyself. You have a low sense of self if that is your tool in life. And you don't get very far. You won't ascend. We're teaching you how to be full. How to be aligned, how to be vibrational and big and unique and dynamic, authentic, unapologetic, dynamic, sure, pure, clear, knowing of thyself. Only you know it. Nobody else knows it. Just you. So get used to it. Celebrate it. Exalt it. That's why you're here. We hope you've had a beautiful time, dear lighted ones. So grounding of the acceptance of any new moment and any new experience. Again, we're going to be looking and seeking for celestial, alien, expansive hybrid energies because they help us integrate more of who we are as celestial hybrid. Because everybody here has DNA that's very, very expansive. And why we can let go of the little minutiae of why we judge and we do the minutia thing with humans. Whether it be religion against religion and this against that and this, it's just ways of pitting against each other to always stay separate. We don't need to. Establishing yourself with an abetting of new philosophies, and they're going to be of higher order because you're expanding in your higher mind. You're being more of your higher mindedness, which means that infinite expansiveness of infinite wisdoms of the ages. New philosophies will be coming forward, and they will be all realm-like. And that is what hybrid means. It's all realm-like, all species-like. That's what hybrid means. So put hybrid as the equation. Put the equal sign and then hybrid after the equals. Now part of the equation is all realms plus all species equals hybrid, equals allness, equals unity, equals me, equals I, equals all, equals God, equals source. Therefore, thus, then, release the small boxes. Step up. Do you feel godly now? We're taking you through math class, dear lighted ones. Vibrational math class. So when you say hybrid, you're going to have a new meaning now. We're taking you in light school, dear lighted ones. This is light school. All species, all realms, you're hybrid. How could you be otherwise? Your planet is showing you you're otherwise. You're not one thing, you're otherwise. This and that. You're divine feminine and you're divine masculine. That's hybrid. You come from all planets, all realms, all species, all planets equals hybrid. Divine feminine, divine masculine, you're hybrid. You're androgynous. You're all things. Your species, your nature, your song, your water, your Christ, your consciousness, you're all things. So seek for higher expansiveness. Reach for a higher aptitude. Reach for a higher capacity. Why? Because you are. Your cells are aching for it. They're showing me the vibration within your bodies right now, aching for Christ consciousness wisdoms. You're aching for the light to be fed by the light, to be nourished by the light. Why? Because you're ready to expand. This is light school. Light school gives you equations. Light school gives you nourishment. Light feeds your body. Light feeds your cells. Light feeds your blood. Light feeds your skin. Light feeds your youthfulness. You have new DNA now, dear lighted ones. Make no mistake about that. And it feels good. It's different. It's new. It's hybridized. We're taking you right to high school. And you're going to tell your children, you don't study what you don't want to learn. What do you want to learn? Be expansive, dear lighted ones. We're changing it up. We're shaking it up. You don't need to learn stuff you don't need to learn. When your soul fulfilled and your soul connected and you're doing your integration, you're going to know what you need to know when you need to know it. Exactly when you need to know it, how you need to know it. It's your download. It's what your higher self and your cascading aspects of you funnel to your pillar of light. That is why you have those God seed cell activations. That is why the light activates in the base of your spine. It's a very sacred process, dear lighted ones. We're teaching it to you. This is the math. Codes, dear lighted ones, codes. Are you feeling the codes? Do you feel high vibration? Is your skin vibrating? Are your chakras vibrating? Are you breathing? Big breath. Does your field feel vibrational? You're shaking it out. Is your skin and your hands and your vibration and your fingers vibrating and your little chakras everywhere, are they all awake now? Or did I wake you up? That was our intention. That's Christ, consciousness. It taps into places that you forgot about, that you didn't even know that you were never taught. Why? Because you're not taught these things. You're not shown these things. You got to seek it out. You got to research it. You got to look very hard, and then your teams will bring you to somebody. They'll bring you a video one day that exactly what you needed. And something activated within you deep inside. You don't know it, and you can't put your finger on it. Why? Because it's multidimensional, micro, macro. You're the microcosm. You're the macrocosm. You are the holographic. You are the aspect. You are the psyche experience of God. Something just got moved. You're a new song right now, dear lighted ones. You're going to walk differently when you hang up. That's the truth. That's the math. I see it. I see math. Not in math like you know it. It's a vibrational math. Stand before me, dear lighted ones. Stand before me. Work it out. Substrates are going to be more pure and rarefied. Therefore, thus, then, anything that you put out is going to come back pure and rarefied. So be very pure and very rarefied about what you're putting out, dear lighted ones. It's the equation. This plus this equals this is coming back. That's the constructs of the substrate. You're higher vibrational now. You get that because we've been talking about it for some time. You're being high capacity now, aren't you? They're showing me a whole group of you. A whole group of you. You're in a new capacity of understanding of higher consciousness information of the codes that we're offering you right now, and you're getting it. You're getting the constructs of multidimensionality because it's a feeling, a sensation. You can't put your hand on it. You can't put your finger on it. You can't say it in words. Sometimes you just know you're bigger and better. That's multidimensional. You can't put your finger on it. You just know you're living as a soul now. That's being multidimensional. That's how you know you're ascending. Sometimes you're not meant to put words on stuff. Why? Because it's bigger and grander than the 3D words you got. Go back to Joanna's earliest shows. Make notes, meditate, soften, allow, reflect, observe, make notes, journal, heal, purge, cleanse. Feed yourself good things. Feed yourself higher vibrational experiences and thought forms and affirmations, and you'll see your life change overnight. Do you want to put in the work or not? Do you want to be in a higher vibrational light body? It means you got to be a higher vibrational light and trainer. You're going to train yourself this way, dear lighted ones. We're in light school now. You're not in Kansas anymore. More time in silence to allow the enmeshment of what is occurring. Remember, your substrates are changing. The omnipresent is changing. The God is more purified, so you got to spend more time in silence so that you can mesh and you can throw and you can weave and you can sing and you can thread those things back and forth. You're working as a high vibrational being. And when your friends are out partying and they're doing 3D things, you can say, no, I'm just going to go and do some reflection and I'm going to sit with myself for a little while. I want to do some reflection and observation. I want to weave in some good stuff here because I'm working in my alignment and I don't want to go backwards. And you got to be okay to say no. You got to be okay to let some people go. That's part of the mastery. Not everybody's going to go on your ride. And you don't want them to because that's their ride, not yours. Choose your ride. Because remember, dear lighted ones, there are laws that govern every moment. And you're moving into a higher order, which means that you're going to be governed by higher order laws. And you will see all higher order laws replace all your human laws because they make sense. It's quicker. It's easier. It's just who you are as a multidimensional being. Stop the red tape rhetoric. It's a waste of your time and a waste of your money, and nobody gets served. And they know this. It's part of the corruption you're all healing. So when you align to your higher self, the rhetoric goes away. You're just stepping outside the matrix because you don't need that no more. You got a new jurisdiction, and it is the heavens. And if you support God in all godly ways, then God will support you in all godly ways. Why? Because that's the equal measure. This plus this equals that. Does that make sense, dear lighted one? Does that make sense? Yes or no? Say it out loud. Yes, this makes sense. Or no, it does not make sense. If God is all creation, and you are saying that you are a part of all creation, and you're a part of the equation that is all God, and you're going to keep up and you're going to allow yourself to soften and surrender every moment to your higher self, and you're a part of the equation of this plus this equals this, then you're going to be on the ride of ascension and manifestation of expansiveness into light frequencies and healing frequencies and unification frequencies, and you will come into the highest version of you through which equal measure is attained. This plus this equals this. That is the natural order. You cannot expect higher order when you are behaving and living and being in lower vibrational order. Your secret societies will not support you because they're not higher order. Everybody will be shown how they need to be. And it is only unto God and the higher self and the soul that distributes that karma to however that soul needs to see, feel, hear, or experience that karma. Because that karma is meant to heal that wound through which the karma was created. As we said to you earlier, if you have a disease or an illness, which is karma, there is a wound through which the very center of that, and you made a matching connection. You chose to take that on, subconsciously or unconsciously or consciously aware and otherwise. There is a moment where that equation turned on. And it's a low vibrational equation. It is still godly because now your godliness can choose from a higher vibrational equation to say, I choose to heal this equation now because I'm higher order. And if I am a part of the all, and I am, and every cell within my body is vibrating in godliness, and it is, and every day I breathe in my godliness, and I do, and I affirm my godliness, and I will, and I am, then I am the commander of my body and my will of the mother and the father. And if it is the will of the mother and the father that I be healed, and I see my lessons and I see my soul journey so that I know that I will help others and I will have a service of others one day. But in this moment, my focus is to heal myself because I love myself. I'm worthy of myself. I'm worthy of a healthy body. I'm worthy of a light timeline. I'm worthy of eternal life. Mother and father, bring this to me equal measure, and I have equal measure of self-love. Are you getting goosebumps, dear lighted ones? That's the equation. It is very simple. And that spirit, God is always simple. You never need to sacrifice anything or anyone. That is lower deity, and that is a lesson. If it is complex, confusing, chaotic, giving away, sacrificing, losing, taking, stealing, thieving, low vibrational, then you will be on low vibrational timelines. It is just the equation. Whether it is a corrupt government, shadow government, MK Ultra, human testing, human experimenting, whether it is secret societies, secret cults, covens, churches, witches, warlocks, whatever it is you do that you practice, do the equation, draw it out, and prove to yourself. Prove to yourself. You can blame no one. You chose disconnection. You chose zero relationship with Source. And it is not word for word knowing the Bible. The Bible will not heal you. Your connection of your higher self, mother, father, equal measure, unconditional love, and forgiveness will heal you. And that is an equation. Pure and simple, pure and real, pure and true, pure and true. And prove it to yourself. So again, you're having more power within every moment because remember the substrates and the constructs are more pure. You're going to have more prominent soul stories to play with, and remember that correlation, that pattern of everything outside of you is being correlated. You can now sort things out and you can now do the equations. You can sort it out for yourself. There's my other channeled notes. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's not it. Brain chemistry. More brain, you're going to be holding more brain capacity because again you're moving out lower vibrational energies that were taking up that mental space that don't need to be there. So again, I can help you work with those programs if you're finding yourself challenging to move in and around certain things. Because remember, it's all about equations. Just looking for my notes for today. Optical lobe, the optical lobe got upgraded. Okay, here we go. Mother and father. This is Mother's Day. Here's my channeled notes from the species of light that I deal with. So wisdom of the ages, we honor you, mother and father, in all days. And the mother and the father honor us in all days because, again, they love to see us explore and there is no judgment on anybody's path. So never, ever feel like you're being judged because you're not. It's just the ego self of you that's judging you. We are surprising. We are always surprised to see so many of you take more care and intention to celebrate your life. So this is what their councils were saying. Every day they're seeing more and more aspects of our human collective celebrate more life. And that's really, really important to the overall collective Schumann resonance, the collective energy vibrational median. We have seen an increase in the appreciation for life because obviously when you experience towers, you get to go the flip side of that. Why did I manifest that tower? How can I appreciate what I really had? Right? When you lose things, when you're in poverty, when you have nothing, when you're homeless, you really appreciate all that you used to have and that you want, but in a new way, because you're going to appreciate it more now. That's why you do have to go through detachment and loss. It is a natural process of self-evolution. It's a natural process of self-actualization. There will be many, 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 many people on this planet, many people that are going into this next phase. Make no mistake about it. I guarantee this. You can write it down and then you can check yourself back by the end of December. There will be more and more people between now and the end of December to the end of a full year cycle, a full cycle of a year, that many people on your planet will be walking away with what they thought were the pillars of their society. They're going to be reducing what they think they need in a home. They're going to be reducing what they think they need in a 3D job. Everything will be changing at a soul level. And they're going to be having mini homes. They're going to be having mobile homes. They're going to be having, you know, the little one structure homes. They're a much more simplified life because it allows for greater source energy to move through you. The more complex and chaotic your life is, it's very exhausting. You become ill because there's no source light getting in. You're not aligned, right? If you're chaotic, you're not aligned. If you're doing spell work, you're not aligned. And we say spell work and secret society energy, Masonic energy. When we talk about those words, we are saying abuse of the first two laws. If you're interfering with anybody, you're not aligned. And that is what practices of giving your power outside of you are. You're not aligned. It's very misguided, low vibrational, and you will manifest towers. You just will. You'll manifest loss. You have to. And loss is just a natural part of your cycle. Don't judge yourself for it. As Mother said, we never judge. You're exploring who you are. We gave you that. We gave you the offer. We gave you the offer to come to Earth to manifest as many explorations of who you are. You want to awaken to that point and say, why? Why did I manifest that? Oh, okay, let's go into that. I want to go deep into this. Anybody that goes back to any of my, I have a playlist, a K2R radio playlist. If you go into any one of my videos, I offer extensively how to go in and see every experience before you from an infinite number of perspectives. See everything before you as a crystal and infinite number of sides and aspects and axes. You want to see everything from all sides. That's mastery. Nobody can be what you can be because it's your experience. You have to dive into it all. Dive into it all. Pull out every corner. Pull out every facet. Pull out every facing of that crystal. Pull it out. Look at it. Right? Look at it. That's why I'm a master. I look at it. I don't stop at just one version. No, I want to know. I got sent back 6 times to the lowest realm. I saw things I wouldn't wish on anybody because I want to help as many people as possible. There's nobody on the planet that speaks and knows what I know and what I speak. Nobody. I know that. I know thyself. God shows me. Nobody went where I went. And I'm proud of it. I'm learning to be proud of it now because I'm getting through the trauma of it. Fucking trauma. All the facets. Any experience is like a crystal. Why did I choose that? Why did I choose that? How did I believe that? How did I believe that? Because at some point you're going to be teaching somebody. You're going to say, oh, you have 7 people in your pod. Every one of those points is one of the people in your pod and in your family. And you've chosen to be a very anchoring point, the center of that family pod. I'm an anchor point. I'm the center of that crystal. And anybody that cycles around me, I can show them infinite number of ways to look at anything they're manifesting. Why? Because I went through it. I'm an experiential being of God. It's close to 900 lifetimes right now. I'm integrating, constantly integrating my lifetimes. I look, I observe, I reflect. I want to know, I want to go in. That's mastery. Mastery is never a shortcut ever. You will always be a student, always. Get off the competition, end state, taking, manifesting ego, misguided, don't know who you are, always wanting the win, always wanting the end state. Get off that train. You're going nowhere. That's chasing your tail. You will never stop chasing your tail. Because as soon as you pass over, as soon as you cross over, the money meant nothing. 3D titles meant nothing. The only thing that matters is, did you care and did you love and did you experience, explore, and express yourself as you said and you showed and you gave yourself a blueprint to be so, to do so, to of so as God. Guaranteed. I have beings with me in my field that have passed over. And their experiences live through me in my messages and in my codes. And they give you profound importance and promise and hope. There is nothing that you cannot do. Wake up. Everything that you were taught that is an outside thing or an outside tangibility and an outside getting and a goal, that's not it. The competition, the comparing, the isolating, the separating, the pitting one against each other, it's not it. And you're going to keep manifesting towers until you get it. Go back within. Who are you? What facet are you working on today? What is the wound? What is the shadow? How can we transmute it? Tune in with your higher self. Align in love. Align in forgiveness. Align in compassion. We never judge you for exploring creation. That is our gift to you. Explore creation, dear lighted ones. And it is up to you to how many towers and destruction, because the forces of the new energies are the equal equations. What you put out is coming back. Every secret society, every government, every aspect of negativity that is put out with intention is coming back. And none will be missed because you want to be a master. And the longer you deny it, will be more towers. And that is just the equal equation. Because you're resisting the end state. That's you. The center is you. The center is you. And you want to see all sides. Never judge yourself for exploring all sides. Boy, I explored that. That was a great fucking ride. Wow. I can teach something nobody else can teach. I can offer something nobody else can offer. I had to go there.
I'm not judging it anymore. I'm at one with it. And as I said in that vision earlier, I saw the 3 realms like this, stacked on top of each other. And the lowest realm doesn't judge itself for being in the lowest realm. That's where it wants to play. There's beings and there's energies and entities and deities there that want to play that realm. That realm is needed. Every time an ascension spiral goes up and we're moving in new energy light and a new template of energy of 5th dimension, we're in a new template right now. That lower vibrational energy, that lower vibrational realm comes up. It's all cascading. Everything comes up. They're not as lower as they were a year ago, 2 years ago. My God, no. And guess why? Why did I show you that? Why was it so important? Everything that I offer is a very valuable soul lesson. This is how you know it's Christic. This is how you can discern teachers from teachers, guides from guides, and those that are true prophets and those that are not. Why did I show you that vision of the 3 realms piggybacking on top of each other, cascading? And every one of those deities and every one of those realms bowed to me as I did them. Why, sweethearts? Why, dear lighted ones? Why, sweet children? Why did we show you that? It's all aspects of you. They're all aspects of you. And they speak through me. I teach through them. I teach of the lower realms. I teach of the middle realms. I teach of the higher realms. I teach of the angelics. I bow to the angelics as equally as the lower realms. Why? Because without the lower realms, all of the other realms in between are incomplete. It's all needed. It's all required. And why you never judge and why you never segregate and why you never see it being as a judgment. No, I absolutely honor and respect you. Thank you for showing me what I did not know. It's all one. Thank you. And those are the ones that create the grandest miracles. Why? Because there's no separation. I am one. That's the ride you're on, dear lighted ones. God wants you to know this. There is no judgment. And why? Again, as we said, you will see your 4 pillar constructs, which is our next channeled note. All 4 pillar constructs in your socioeconomic realities will be coming down. They must. Because there is none above another. There is none more important than another. And this is how the entire reality of your matrix was constructed. By the erasing of certain beings, the erasing of certain notions and higher knowledge and higher wisdoms and higher temple teachings to show you how to be in full connection with Source, how to be in full relationship with Source at all times. That is your power. And you chose the route of the most separative. So celebrate that. Make it part of your story. Integrate it. All realms walk as equal. Say that. Live that. Know that. And then nothing will be of fear. The shoe won't drop. Why? Because you've integrated it. There's no big deal. Take me back whatever realm you want. I said to Mother Father last night, as I cried and I purged another time of not understanding why the constant attacks and why the constant spell work, because I have to transmute every aspect of hate sent to me. I got more and more protection, but I still have to transmute it. I feel everything. They said, Joanna, we want you to celebrate. We want you to have all of the abundances you should have had years and years and years ago if people weren't playing with you and playing God over you. We want you to be relaxing. We want you to live your best life now. And I said, no, where do you want me to go next, Mother? Take me where you want me to go next, Mother. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. And no matter if I had nothing, no matter if I had nothing left to give, no matter if there was nobody with me ever in the past 10 years of the attacks and the degradation and the defamations of saying that I was crazy and insane, am I? I have a higher intelligence than anybody on this planet, and it has nothing to do with sheets and papers and questions. I am the Christ, dear lighted ones. I vibrate in a song, and I'm showing how each and every one of you can too as well, if you so choose. It's a vibration, it's a knowing, it's a sensing. I'm going to turn you and switch you to multidimensional. If you so choose, you're not linear. And so Mother said, no, it's time for you to play now, dear lighted ones. We want you to play. You are exaltation of Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine, she is the party giver. She gathers people in the kitchen and she says, we shall eat now. Everybody shall break bread. And we shall talk of our experiences and our stories. We shall share our stories and our experiences, that everyone at the table has a place. Every single person at that table, young and old. Every single person in that table, skin, gender, preference, financial cut,
Everyone has a place. The divine feminine sets this standard. And I remember, dear lighted ones, a very divine feminine, very powerful being in my life. And she was like my mother. And we used to have big Sunday dinners, very big. And people would be walking in and out of her house day in and day out. And she would be busy in the kitchen, cooking and tasting and baking. And people would be coming and going all day long. And I was dropped off first thing in the morning. Sometimes if I was lucky enough, I would stay for the weekend. And she would show me great things. And I would just love watching her. And she would have 12 different things going on at the same time. She knew exactly where everything was. She knew exactly when people were showing up. She knew exactly what was where and who was where and what was with who. And we had to pull the 3 and 4 tables in the house together, bring tables in from the garage and bring tables in from the barn. And everybody sat. And everybody communed. And everybody ate. And everybody shared. And everybody passed food. And everybody put their phones away. Back in those days, there were no phones that you could carry in your pocket and take pictures around the table. It was simple conversation. And it was simple sharing. And she would at times say to the grandchildren, "What did you think about your meal? What you have to say? Let us hear you." And the entire table went silent, for it was the only time the children had a voice. Is when the elder mother said, "This is the new standard, the children shall have a voice, and they shall speak, and their voices are equally important." And you could hear the rustling of the cutlery on the plates, cutting meat and cutting pastry and cutting all the things that were made in delicate nourishment and delicate singing and song and being tasted along the way. She was a beautiful cook, so beautiful. And she poured love into everything that she made. And there was not a person on the city and in the town and in the island that made a better spaghetti sauce than this lady. And homemade rolls and beautiful, beautiful food that was the appetite of the souls that sat there. And she made standards every time people sat at the table. And that was the divine mother. That was the divine feminine coming out. And everyone had a voice around that table, and everybody's tummies and their bodies and their souls and their spirits were nourished and filled. Why? Because everybody, ages and old, and sexes and religions and beliefs and knots and divorces and separations and togetherness and marrieds, doesn't matter who was what and where was who. We were all being fed everybody's stories, and we were all one. We all found compassion and unity within it somehow. We connected with it somehow. We saw our unity in it and diversity in it somehow. And the mother brought that together. And as her children all upon this planet, each and every one of you are different, make no mistake about that, like a fingerprint. Can't tell you how diverse you are. And you will all eat and break bread. And you all sit and hear each other's stories, and none are above another. You're simply different. Because we made you that way. Can you exalt in that? Can you sit at the table no matter what and find sameness? And find grouping? Find unity? Find togetherness? Isn't that what Mother's Day is all about? To put aside the differences and say it's time for cycling of new standards, a new higher order. And we will break bread and the phones will be put down. And we will not get up until we seek this in one another of peace and unity and harmony. And for our evening prayer, as we lay our heads upon our pillows, and we've thought about the wonderful conversation and the wonderful food, and we will say, "May I have a prayer for my heart, mind, and body and soul so that I be more compassionate tomorrow and have another gathering just as equal next week." Because nothing is more important than connection and relationship. And you are the ones, dear lighted ones, that we have chosen to come forward on this earth to create and weave new relationship, and it must be higher order, because that's what's needed. You're a hybrid for a reason, because you have many stories to tell at your tables and your dinners, and your breakfasts and your lunches. And weave it together as one. And this is the Divine Mother. And you will go extinct if you do not include these. How could you not be nourished by such soul-giving stories? Does anybody in your family know of a soul story from your family? Anybody in your soul family? Can you start gathering those of friends and family? Can you sit and have story time? Can you sit and tell stories? Can you begin new legacies of sharing? This is very needed upon your culture, and why we said earlier, the very 4 pillars of your society will crumble and break. Why? Because it's not where you're at. You're shamans. your medicine men and women, your herbalists, your acupuncturists, your wise knowledge and sages, your philosophers, your celestials, your astronomers, your ambassadors of new ways. Set higher standards, dear lighted ones, and let it begin with connection and relationship within yourself. Every meal that you have, whether you are alone or with others, can you know that you are of all realms, of all species, and that you are a hybrid? And this hybrid requires that you nourish it in different ways. Of higher vibrational soul stories, of shamanic soul stories, of connection with earth soul stories, of living with others soul stories, of finding a way for unity and peace of soul stories. And how do your leaders of today show you this and prove this to you? Do your leaders show you to empower yourself and to guide yourself of your own self-righteousness? Not through ego, but of spirit, of alignment of a higher order. They're afraid you're going to find that higher order, dear lighted ones, because they benefit of you not knowing that you have higher order. And that's okay. It's up to you to call a timeout on that. And I remember my weekends, these very powerful divine feminine energy that is in my field and stays with me always. And she guides me and teaches me how to set new standards for divine feminine, because there are none on this planet. And we are starting from scratch, divine feminine, and this we must celebrate. And we must anchor this every day, and we must exalt in it every day. There are new stories to be written by divine feminine. There are new texts to be written by divine feminine. There are new sacred wisdoms to be written by divine feminine, because we will not go extinct. That is my promise. Every child will be healed and liberated. That is my promise. This is new order. Every child has a voice, and I will speak it. If they do not have it, and they cannot, whether they are passed on or whether they are before me, I am all realms. And as we fell asleep that night, and we prayed for another good meal next week, because we had such fun just being with each other. And we saw each other's personalities come out. And we all accepted each other, unconditionally, in our faults and in our misgivings. And we laugh it off, and we accept it, and we'll see each other next week, because that's family. That's what family does. And the next morning, I woke up, and early the next morning, the coffee was going, and the kitchen was already busy. A 24/7 kitchen this was. It was like a restaurant that never shut down. She was the baker and the feeder of all, and our bellies were always fed, always happy, always nourished. That's the divine feminine. You're always nourished. You are nourished in divine feminine energies. You know a divine feminine is aligned when you always walk away feeling better than you did before you got there. That's divine feminine. When you are always nourished, when you are always provided for, when you are always sought and seen new ways, when you're always given little tidbits of juice and information and little fragments of something so you can walk away knowing that you're different than you were before you came. And the kitchen would smell of bacon and eggs and toast, and she would say, "Come with me, Joanna, let's go out to the garden." It was one of my favorite places with her. She's a lovely lady. And we would sit and we would talk to the strawberries, we would talk to the berries, and we would bend down and kneel, and she would show me the berries and what the berries meant. She was constantly showing me about food and what I could eat and what I could not eat and what the food meant. She was a shaman of food. And people used to call my granny weird at times, and they would laugh and chuckle at her, and she took it all with a grain of salt. She was the first lady in our family to do yoga. We would go on camping trips, and she would do yoga in the camper, and everybody thought it was crazy. And she would take us on nature walks in our campsites and in the gardens and wherever she was, and she would say, "Okay, Joanna, that's you can eat that mushroom. You cannot eat that mushroom. You can eat that over there if you were stuck in the woods. Joanna, you can eat that right there, Joanna." Just walking through the woods. And she was so connected with Gaia. And all the family didn't know at that time that she was a shaman, that she was an herbalist, that she came with much nourishment, and people chucked and laughed at her, teased her a little bit, and they all found great fun because she was the most loving lady. When she gave you a hug, the whole world changed. You knew you were there forever, and you'd never want to let go. That's the Divine Mother. You just never want to let go, because she fills you up with so much love. She'll show you things, and she'll teach you things that nobody else can teach you and show you. She'll show you how to get up when you're hurt. She'll show you how to try again. She'll show you how to be brave. She'll show you how to bring things back together again, because that's divine feminine. And without her, everything will crumble and fall and be set afire. And sometimes things might be needed to be set afire because it needs to crumble, it needs to come apart, because there's just such corruption. There ain't nothing in there but decrepidation. There's no divine feminine in anything that is corrupt. So let it fall, let it burn. We must see the ashes, dear lighted ones. You must see the phoenix rise for you to be reborn. And the divine feminine offers that to you. Now, how do you feel about divine feminine and the mother today, dear lighted ones? Did we give you some morsels to nourish your soul? Can you go away and think about life in a new way, in a different way, in a nourishing way? Can you feed yourself as a soul from now on, dear lighted ones, that everything's speaking to you and you speaking it, and everybody in your life has a purpose? The grannies and the mothers and the elders, regardless of where they were coming from, they did the best they could. And on the other side, they're part of your lineage, they're part of your team, and they're a part of your legions that keep you safe. Make no mistake about that, Joanna's walking with millions. Because she bows. She bows. And she says sorry for when she transgresses and feels the anger that she doesn't understand why she's going through what she's going through when nobody else is going through what she's going through. How many sacrifices need to be had before we wake up and say, I've had enough, I ain't doing it no more? How many more children need to be hurt? How many more sacrifices and needless deaths because somebody wants to play God before you wake up and you see what you're doing is truly, truly, truly unnecessary? And you're going to carry that karma on your soul until you get it. You're walking in the garden and you're being shown everything, dear lighted ones, and there are masters before you that show you. The grannies that show you what food to eat on your nature walk, and the masters before you that show you that, no, you're not taking me out, I got a purpose here. I'm walking through the garden of hell. I'm walking through the garden of be okay with yourself, you're accepting yourself and you're going to heal it. And you're going to walk in the garden of everything is possible, you're there. You're walking in full light. Are you gonna burn, put her at the stake? Because she speaks of a different God than the ones you were told. And who says that was right anyways? It served a small mind, but now you're bigger. Is that okay? Can you be at a new table now? Can you be fed with different things now? Can you be shown different things now? Can you know that you're a soul now? Can you know that you're all forms now? Can you know that you come from all species? Can you know that you're multidimensional? Can you know that you're always with God? Can you know that there's infinite aspects to life and you want to be a part of it? You know you're in front of genius, dear lighted ones, when you're being fed. That is the manna. Manna comes from mother. God holds the realms. The mother births it. Must be equal. Equally important. The father lifts the mother this day. The father says, I shall bow to you, Holy Mother, for your birth all my important life. Thank you, Holy Mother. I bow to you. And the mother knows need. She knows what needs to be fed and she knows what needs to be nourished. She knows who needs an extra healing, who needs an extra hug. And the mother knows, just like my granny did, when everybody sat there and their bellies were full. And she just had to make one glance at someone from across the table and they would immediately get up and start cleaning the table. Nothing had to be said. And that's respect. You're not trying to take out the mother with spell work because you want a part of the inheritance. How dare you? How far disconnected have we come? You're not sacrificing a child and walking around in circles and chanting your little words because you want a title on your 33rd degree of northeast, south, and western stars that you think you're a part of, and you're not. There's no ranking in that. That's deplorable. And you're not a master. A master is one that upholds life and the giving of life and bows to it with grace and humility is the softening of grace. It is not what you read in your dictionaries, so don't go there. Grace is the offering of eternal life that God is. God is graceful. God places you a master before you no matter how many times you target her. That's grace. Joanna's soul blueprint is to exalt in grace. Why? Because no matter what, God's going to offer it. That's grace. That's God. Can't put that in words. Can't put that in a dictionary. It's a vibration. That is the song of God, and you got to seek it on your own. Why would you want it any other way? You're not a clone. You're sacred, precious. So very sweet. And so, we'll get to that channel because it's very important. I want to say that before my battery goes here. The cornerstones of your reality are shifting. This too is a very, very good thing. What pillars have you held all that is up in? Your world is changing dramatically. And what are the 4 pillars of your world? These are all correlating patterns of your belief systems. And as you, each and every one of you, go within and seek out what are your 4 pillars and what does it mean to you? What is the value of you? What is the worthiness of you? What makes your world go round? That is the 4 pillars. The cornerstones are changing. Why? Because money doesn't make the world go round. False corporations don't make the world go round. False leaders don't make the world go round. Shadow governments don't make the worlds go round. Secret societies don't make the worlds go round. Level up, dear lighted ones. This ain't Kansas anymore. Celebrate this. That's what you come for. You're entering into the gates, if you so choose. We see you in all life. We do love all of your human families and all of our human families, that you are us and we are you. You have a very tangible experience, and you have so much that we find so interesting and unexplainable in your perseverance and your trust. Regardless of what you go through at any level, you still feel the need to trust in your own perseverance. You get up and you try again. At our level, in whatever level we are, it is second nature for us to trust. But for you in separation and deep darkness, that is something that is unseen and unheard of. There are some that don't even understand or believe in God, and yet they get up every day and trust that the moon and the sun won't fall onto them. They can persevere through whatever challenge and tower and say, there must be a God, there must be something more. That to us is remarkable. To us, at a higher version, we're one with Source, we sing with Source, we seek joy in everything, we are joy in everything, we don't have the struggles you have. We find this remarkable. We love watching you in your perseverance and your courageousness. To explore and experience and express yourself as all things that God can and be with you. That is grace. We find this so fascinating, and your ability to get up and try again. Know these efforts is your own evolution, and it will serve your soul well. There is infinite expansions, and if only you remember to tune within yourself, the journey will show you such, as we showed you earlier. When you tune into the equations, you will show yourself the unfolding of your sacred journey. You're very sacred, you're very precious. You will see the reality, feel the reality, and know the reality in some ways as a hallucination. Again, so they were showing me the shifts of what's coming, and it will feel as if we're popping in and out of hallucinations. Those are the bits and pieces of a 5D showing itself to you, that you can use those energetic morsels, as I just told you about that story about my granny, and feeding the morsels of all the stories and all of the experiences and perspectives of others. Those are morsels of energy. That's your lineage. That's your Akash. So celebrate it. Celebrate everybody for their unique perspective. The unique perspective that we're showing ourselves in and out of these quasi-physical realities, or the timelines that we're giving ourselves offerings from. But you have to intend from that now impression, what is your highest vibrational reality experience? What is that part of you that keeps yearning? Highest creative reality, highest creative alignment with Source Creator, highest creative allowance for my expression of my voice. I want to create more paintings. I want to create more unity. I want to create a healing center. Whatever those expressions are, those are the pulsations that show you those hallucination moments of those quasi-physical realities dropping into your now reality. They're like downloads. But they showed me, it will feel more like a hallucination. Like, oh wow, that was just like, you know, I showed you in my video last week, if you go to my last week's video, about I had timeline jumped to a nature field where I was with my celestial families. And I was like freaking out, like how did I wasn't sure. I popped myself into that reality. I wasn't afraid of them. I was just like, okay, well, how do I get back
right? Because in that reality, there's no cell phones, there's no cars. You're in that reality. So that was a hallucination type. So we're going to be showing ourselves bits and pieces of, going back to what I just said, it's very important, write this down. The hallucinations will be those morsels of vibration of your highest intended, higher self-aligned timeline. So write that out. That's a Christ code. And practice that. Just surrender, soften it. You don't control these things. You do not control Christ consciousness. You commandmentship of your universal experience. Yes, absolutely. You're a commander of it. Yes, I'm commanding myself to be healed. You're not controlling it. You're going to command your cells to know differently. You're going to command the blood and the higher alignment of your higher self and your mind and your heart, mind, body, and soul. Those are commandmentships. It's a commandment. I'm commanding myself higher knowing. Right? You're God. You're not wishy-washy. You're not back and forth. No, I'm commanding myself. My voice is pure. I know who I am. So again, when you practice self-love, when you practice self-care, choosing yourself over conformity, the social norms, the 4 pillars, as we said earlier, the constructs of your reality, your path will immediately change and lighten. And it will be a delight. Your reality won't be suffering anymore. It will be a delight. The brave and the courageous are those that simply trust the path and know all is well. You are all manifesting whether you know it or not. Your thoughts and your words and your deeds, are the equations. And so you can get used to doing those quantum math equations, right? Just do the math, or draw it out. There is much devoted practice that we have seen you all do, and thus, therefore, is the equal equation. Remember, as we take greater self-love and greater self-care, that's part of the equation. The 4 pillars of our constructs of our reality will be changing, and we have to celebrate that. That's huge. That is a huge leap forward for mankind, like they did with the man landing on the moon. We're going to say that one again, and you can write it out if you want. So this is from the Federations of Light. The cornerstones of your reality are shifting. Now remember, each and every one of you are on a different earth. You are pulsating emanations of energy, your unique song, your unique harmonic, your unique intention, your unique 51% of karma, your unique getting up every day, your unique aligning with your higher self, your unique song, blah, 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 everything we talk about. Everything is a song with God. How you manifest and command it is your cornerstone. So, the cornerstones of your reality are shifting. This too is a very good thing. What pillars are you seeing and knowing changing dramatically? What used to be of value to be? What did you hold the world on? What did you hold value in? What did you give power to? Again, Elon Musk's statement as money makes the world go round. It doesn't. That's his cornerstone. Those are his pillars. And that will come down, because that's not what this is built on. And this is what is meant as the same parable. First will be last, last will be first. There has to be a shift. The cornerstones are shifting. And there is nobody on this planet that is going to stop that. None. That is prophecy. It is time for the shifting. It is time for shifting. It is the revelation time. We, our collective hearts, our collective minds and spirits, as a collective, we are vibrating higher now than we ever have been. We need higher codes. We need higher morals. We need higher order. And there are those placed before you that show you higher order. There are those placed before you that had to go through hell to still stand before you, as God will lift each of those that are pure of truth and those that are the light way showers. And it's up to you to discern what feels vibrationally in alignment. And then you go within and you reflect and you observe and you reclaim the power of yourself to direct yourself. That is how you know you are being led by a great leader. Because the power will always be returned back to you where it should be, have always been. The cornerstones are shifting, and it has to. Why? Because you're reclaiming your power. You get to choose what you give value to, what you give integrity to, what you give energy and time to, where your focus and your direction goes, everything that we've been teaching thus far. Connection and relationship. The more in alignment you are, your pillars are shifting. Spirit is everything. So have that as part of your reflection work if you so wish this week. What 4 pillars have I been surrendering to and giving power away to? Political systems, banking systems, job systems. And again, we said earlier, part of the 4 pillars attributes, remember the equal sign?
Remember the equations, this plus this equals this. If the cornerstones are changing and shifting because our values and our morals and our awakening as consciousness, our Schumann resonance is changing, our Gaia consciousness is changing, the substrates are changing, those parts of the equation are changing and shifting very dramatically because light begets light, light begets light, light begets light, it's coming back fast. What will the outcome be? Higher vibrational systems that are aligned with the heavens directly. The red tape and rhetoric will release and move away. We will align with universal laws. We will align with our vocations and our passions through the higher self, through the soul, through the higher self, of all creativities, of all soul fragments that we've integrated. It will be equal measure to what we do and what we choose as the creative expression, exploration, and experience. The pillars are shifting and changing. Why? Because we are. Love and spirit is higher of importance. Spirit is everything. Love is everything. Connection is everything. Why? Because we show that it gives us greater youthfulness. It gives us greater direction. No matter what craziness is happening outside, no matter what is falling down, let it fall. It's gotta. It's gotta fall. Let it fall. Why? Remember the attribute? What's coming next? You will see more of the collective move to a more simpler time and a way of living. They will go off grid. They will move into smaller homes. They will move into homes that can be mobile because they want to explore the planet. They're being called to different vibrations on the planet. They want to help the planet. They want to be of greater service of the planet. They're in alignment with their soul's mission. They're in alignment with being in unity and unification of oneness. Everything's shifting, dear light ones. It's coming fast. There's a shifting out. And remember the equation, negative, neutral, and positive. Draw it out every day, do the math, and you'll find yourself becoming a master. When you hang on in resistance and denial and suppression and depression and resist change, that is the negative, then you will continue to manifest faster and faster towers because you're refusing to allow source light to bathe and cleanse and wash away what needs to so that you can open up and allow more source essence. The more soul, the more light you carry, the more capacity, the more higher versions, and again, your mind and your brain will be opening up to higher vibrational wisdoms. Again, it's the equation. As we said earlier, new spiral of creation means that your capacity to hold greater memory of things that matter, because the matter now is spirit. Spirit is everything. How your soul manifests is everything. And you're going to let go of all the little small stuff that kept you going around in monkey mind. So know how profound things are changing, and I celebrate you. I celebrate the Holy Mother in each and every one of you. Have prayers of thankfulness and gratitude every day for the Holy Mother healing your body every night. Call in Holy Mother for her nourishing milk, her nourishing love, her benevolence for your life, and ask the Holy Mother to show you in your 5D guidance of what your expression of divine feminine is. There's generations and generations of hybridized children. There are generations and generations of crystalline children that need divine feminine role models, and you're it. Whether you're in a masculine body or not. Whether you're in a divine feminine body or not. Do you see what we're saying here, delighted ones? Can you celebrate what we just said? That is a Christed statement of truth, and it's going into the 5D grids. That is a template of truth. That is the new Bible. There are generations of crystalline, indigo, hybrid children that need divine feminine role models. Who are you? Can you show the younger generation in the divine masculine body? Can the divine masculines of every household sit and show your children that you have an hour once a week to sit and heal? And show your children that you have a meditation space, that you have a journaling space, that you are committing yourself to healing. That you're going to speak of soul stories. You're going to speak of soul experiences. You're going to allow yourself to be vulnerable and heal what needs to be fucking healed. Can you bring divine feminine in to be healed? And the divine masculine attributes will take care of itself and find its balance as you do so. Because one begets the other. It is the same. It is the yin, the yang. This and the that. The species, the realms equals hybrid. Every one of you are hybrids. Your DNA will show it to you. And this is what we teach you, how to tune in, how to read your own Akash and your Akash only. You don't have any right, and nor does anybody else, to read anybody else's Akash. If you go to an Akashic healer like Joanna, she will read what needs to be read, and she will only be given that information. And she is trained what to say and how to say it, so that it is designed for that being before them, so that those codes can be given and that density can be released and seen in new ways. That's a trained healer. That's somebody that reads energy. That's somebody that's been given access to the Akashic records. Why? Because she's a trained healer. None can do what she does. That's a higher order code. That is truth. And your 4 pillars are changing. Everything is spirit. Everything is love. Everything is one. And what nourishes you is going to be so different in 1 year from now. Make no mistake about that, if you so choose. And you will heal your body. That is your promise. But you have to claim that. And if you are on your knees in exaltation of what you just remembered your value to be as you connected with that inner child that got beat, or sexually touched, or raped, or locked in a corner, or locked in a closet, or told that you weren't important, or ostracized, or bullied, or targeted, and you're crying in unity because you've connected with that equation, and you said, I meet you there, little girl, I meet you there, little boy, come here, let's heal. Whatever that story that vibrationally played out, whether it be disease, STD, poverty, loss, whatever it was, I'm equal with that equation and I'm going to heal it. I forgive myself and all others. That, my friends, is Divine Mother, and she will never let you down. And if you choose to exclude her and all divine feminines, and if you continue to use misogyny as your foundation, you will have your reality go extinct. And there will be nobody around you, and everything will burn as you so wished it. And only you can see the ashes, and only you can see your story, because there will be nobody facing back at you. Whether it be water or air or forest or land, the mother is in all life, and it shall never be neglected ever again. Place all life up high. It is all equal. Namaste. I love you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Are you nourished, dear lighted ones? Holy Spirit, thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I love each and every one of you. The Holy Mother is saying that she will sing you a song in bed tonight that will bring each and every one of you back to your heart and your soul if you have forgotten who you are. If you were told you were nothing, if you were shown you were nothing, if you were ignored, if you were felt filled with burdens that are not yours to carry, the Holy Mother would like to take that away from you if you so choose to give it to her and be fed by her and loved by her. And you will cry yourself to sleep tonight, and you will be in her arms and her bosom. And just like my granny did every Sunday, and she will feed you every Sunday. And she will show you how very valuable and precious you are. To come together every day and to get up and try again. She never judges you. The Mother will never judge you. And she will be there when you fall. And she will be there when you get up. Her gift to you is free will. And she will support you and love you so equally. She loves you, she loves you. But you have to accept that love to heal. I accept the love of the Holy Mother. I love you. I rainbow you. I love you. The stories of the Holy Mother were never heard before this day. And if you so choose to hear her song when you go to sleep at night, we wish you great exaltation, and we wish you to share your stories in our next video and in the comment field below. And may you have a most magical evening tonight as the Mother sings you to sleep. And ask her with a gracious heart and no other heart. For only the hearts to hear will be healed. For if you ask with a gracious heart and a humble heart, just to soften in her bosom one more time. To know that if this earth time you did not have a mother that knew how to love, or how to give care, or kindness, or forgiveness, if you had a mother that didn't show you the way, there are many divine feminine here on this earth that will show you the way.
And the Divine Mother is always here. Your planet needs Divine Feminine. She could never be erased. She will sing to you always. That is her greatest gift, singing life into life. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Wow, that was powerful. Wow, I saw some pretty amazing things. How are you all feeling? That felt wonderful. Thank you, Holy Mother. That was my gift for Mother's Day. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That felt wonderful. Oh, that felt amazing. There was lots of activations there. We're going to talk about that in my next class, which will be, I think, around the 24th or 25th. Anybody that wants to join, I'm so spaced out right now. That felt amazing. There's so many codes. Oh my God. So I hope you all have a beautiful Mother's Day dinner, and even if you're by yourself, nourish yourself, and if you so choose to be healed and loved by the Holy Mother tonight. Oh my gosh, that felt so amazing. Thank you, Holy Mother. So amazing. My private sessions are always available for booking. 90 minutes is $233 US, and at 45 minutes, $533 US. I am an independent creative consultant for whatever business or vocational alignment that you so choose. Any aspects of our social creative reality that is coming down, I'm here to assist in the remaking and the rebuilding of it, as well as my clients that have been training with me and training in my classes. I always refer them as well. So this is why, again, you'll know the difference between other workers is that I empower those that have been training under me and with me to be the leaders as well and take part in 5D Earth Creatorship. Because it is not a one-person job, obviously. And I have many, many great students that have been the stewards and the caretakers of the Christ consciousness, and they've been carrying the Christ mantle and doing many great works on this planet. So I'm so very blessed to have had all of those students with me from the beginning of my show, beginning of all of my episodes, Scotty, and all of the beings that are constantly getting up every day and being courageous, and your perseverance is being watched and known and seen and loved and appreciated by many. You are so loved. You are so loved. You are so loved. We have to remember, dear lighted ones, and we'll close it off with this. My PayPal links are below for any donations. I'm so grateful for it. I will be doing in-person healings, so just know that anytime you tap onto our videos with the intention to heal, the Christ codes, and if you call in the healing angels and your celestial healing angels, be specific of healing teams, you will get those codes and the healings that you need. So be very intentional and specific before you listen, and as you're listening to it, just open and observe, and then you can go back and do your reflections and your notes. That's doing the work and living in a higher vibrational entrainment. And so the higher vibrational alignments will keep allowing that culmination to keep growing and expanding and growing and expanding. And what did we say? Was there anything I stayed? Yes. Every thought is a seed of creation. So just know that. The pillars are changing. What did we just say a second ago? Somebody wants to write in the comments. Just after I said my sessions, my PayPal. There's just, okay. She is there. That's so funny. It's going to feel like we're on hyperdrive. Those of you that have been with me for a while, that have been doing your ascension work, if you've been awakened for a while, the last half of the year is going to feel like hyperdrive. So you're going to have to be, I love that personally, because I get bored. I have to focus my energy because I have such a big energy. I have to focus my energy and get things complete because I have such a vast, expansive interest field. And I get bored with the really mundane stuff. So I want to get on with creating realities. I want to get on with creating new earth, like creating new systems. I want to get on with creating new schools, creating all these. That's where my energy is. I'm on the big ticket stuff. So they said that it's going to seem like we're on hyperdrive if you've been on the path for a while. But what it's going to have you do is, again, that opposite side of the infinity is you're going to have to make sure you're going to be really, really, really focused on grounding. The higher you go, the deeper you're going to go and have to clear out the lower vibrational soul fragment stories. And remember, as I said in my last video, sometimes you're taking on, especially if you've cleared a lot of, because those that have been with me for a long time, you've done a lot of clearing, you're going into 5D, but you might have the odd fragment here and there and the odd density that you've chosen to take on for your celestial lineage. And it's just needed extra. That's why they said there's going to be really big shifts coming. Because we've had so much clearing. The last 2 years have been so profound in clearing a lot of the underground bottleneck. A lot of really wounded energies that were the result of secret societies. There's nothing wrong with secret societies if they were done with pure intention. But they got warped over time because everybody within them were warped and they weren't healed. And it can only manifest, again, the equation. If you're not healed and you're not in alignment with the higher order and universal laws, you're going to not be in alignment with universal laws. You're going to create karma. So all secret societies and all systems and all aspects of creational reality, I am here to assist on how to navigate in and around higher realms if you so wish. You can choose not to change anything and stay where you stay. You're still going to manifest your equation. And nobody's to blame for that. No light worker, no psychic that's telling you the equations of reality. You're choosing to stay in that equation. Right? It's a vibration, it's a song, and you can be trained to do higher, and we're here to assist. What did I say about that? I talked about my donations are really grateful and great. I had my windows open today, so my hair is all... It was really hot here today. I got a little burned. Hyperdrive, okay. Is there any other last minute things we wanted to channel? Any last minute messages for anybody in the collective? I forgot to do that last time. There was a message for somebody. Keanu Reeves. Who else? Harry Styles. What's his name? The guy that's fighting Mike Tyson. I always forget his name. Jake Jarmel. No, I don't know. Jake something. Is there any messages for anybody in the collective spirit? Thank you, Holy Spirit. 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 We're coming on behalf of the directors of light. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Many of you are going to be connecting with your celestial teams in the next couple of months. Those that have been connected with Joanna and her teachings, they're showing me threads. And this will help you in your more... So again, as we talked about the story earlier with my granny, it's called energy morsel, vibrational morsels. Because you're meant to use those, as we talked about downloads, when you're unpacking your downloads, and when you have sessions with me, I give you and I offer downloads from your teams. Sometimes I can only say and speak whatever is coming in the most prevalent moment, but there's codes going in your field and downloads going in your fields and activations going in your fields that I don't know. I'm just giving the information and the codes because I'm a vessel. I transfer, I give, I emit source energy. Your guides are the ones giving you the codes. I'm just the vessel. Right? So sometimes if someone comes back to me and says, can we go over what we talked about last time and give a higher version of it? Because when you go away and you do the inner work, or you give yourself time to rest, you do your journaling, you let out your, you're transmuting all that energy, you have a higher version of what we talked about within a week. That's how fast we're evolving. This is how profound this path is. That's why I get so excited about being the teacher of what I teach. So there's codes. Those are going to be
first contact, again, your hallucinations, are those energetic morsels, vibrational morsels. They're showing me like a cosmic song sheet. And those notes are for that cosmic song. And you're meant to unpack that and say, I want that vibrate. Because when I do my channeling, I say, I want to connect with, say, the Andromedans on the 9th dimension. It's a different vibration of the Andromedans that are on the 6th dimension. So I intend that thread. I seek that thread of vibrational uniqueness. That's what these morsels are. Packets, downloads, they are vibrational uniqueness for you to reach for. As I said, capacity and aptitude. You're being trained through me as a vessel, as a conduit, as a teacher of light. You're being trained and given vibrational morsels in these next 3 months of your celestial families reaching out in contact, and they will be in various ways. One of them was, again, the experience that I told you in my last video about just popping myself into a timeline, and there they were. I had another one. They happen all the time, but they're very quasi. And so I always feel a lot of energies and beings in my field, and it's up to me to call that being in to make it a substantial, real experience. Does that make sense? This is how your field looks. You have infinite energies in your field at all times. You don't necessarily want that active all the time because it can become very overwhelming. And if you're not trained, and if you're not grounded, and if you're not clearing your energy fields and your chakras daily, you will feel very chaotic and imbalanced. So this is what I teach, is also how to clear your fields and know what's in your field and how to call them in. If you're working in very negative, dark energies and environments and businesses and groups, there's a lot that you have to learn, if you so choose, to start clearing out what you've done and what you've chosen, and start to get to know your voice and your spirit's voice, and start reconnecting and having a relationship with Source from a positive perspective as far as a negative, wounded perspective. So it's about you navigating it all. These morsels are for you from your teams, from your higher self, in your readiness, because those of you that have been on the path for a while are looking for, as we said earlier, the experience of light begets light. The substrates are changing. It's more accelerated. There will be shiftings out to various aspects of those earth templates that are going to have the experiences of your first contact. So they are morsels that you are meant, if you're free will, to go in and reach for those morsels of nourishment, i.e., sessions like today, videos like our sessions, because we offer multidimensional hybrid codes. And those hybrid codes activate your memory, your seed cell memory of your godliness, of your hybridness, of your all realmness, of your divine feminine, divine masculineness, of your allness of God. Does that make sense? But they're for you to reach. Again, equal measure. Take commandmentship of your experience, of your journey. Because next timeline, next body, when you wake up tomorrow, I say next timeline, it means tomorrow. Your next timeline, your next body is going to be a healed, divine, benevolent one that is aligned with God, Source, Creator, Light, if you so choose. Or if not, you can just entrain it, surrender it all to how you've been operating, and it will just be on a autopilot into however it was manifested last. Right? Your matter takes form from the energy you feed it. So if you're feeding it the same story, it will be the same matter. Again, go back and make the notes, and then reflect and observe. Love yourself. Have compassion. The 4 pillars are changing. What are your 4 pillars? What is the most important thing for you right now is connection. Because without connection, there is nothing. There is the ashes. And from that, there is still a lesson. But you don't have to have the tower fall and burn. The pillars are shifting no matter what, because it must shift from being economical, financially, selfishly greed-based, corruptive-based, to spiritually, soulfully based. Unity consciousness. Higher order. So reflect on that, dear lighted ones, and we thank you so very much. Namaste, dear lighted ones. Our donation links are below, and we love you so very much. Have fun practicing your fullness. Call the mother in for a beautiful song for healing tonight, and remember her, and have her sing to you if you so wish, and if it would be grateful for a humble and gracious heart for you to sing back. We love you so very much, and we appreciate you in this connection and relationship of New Earth. Namaste, dear lighted ones. We love you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We love you. Bye, dear lighted ones. Rainbow hugs and kisses.